coming to you from the Tri-Cities Coliseum, where tonight the Tri-City Americans and the Kamloops Blazers will try to get off a dead center. They skated to a 3-3 overtime tie last night, and tonight just seems like an extension of the game last night. In goal tonight for the Blazers will be the Cookie Monster, 20-year-old Dean Cook. Cook, with a lot of experience, going to make it even tougher for the Americans to fill up that net. Coach John Oliver waiting for somebody to really break loose and begin to fill the net for the Americans, waiting for the power play to click. So far it hasn't, but one of these days you can hope that it will. We'll be back with the opening lineups and the face-off in 1 minute on this Columbia Cablevision broadcast.
They were misfits, wild one.
I'm Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott, and here are the starting lineups for tonight's game between the Kamloops Blazers and the Tri-City Americans. First, for the visiting Blazers, the defenseman will be number 2, Pat McLeod. McLeod is 5'11", 185 pounds, out of Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta. Joined on the blue line by Don Schmidt, number 28, 5'10", 185, out of Fort Saskatchewan. He is a 20-year-old. McLeod is in his second year in the league. He's 18. At center for the Blazers, number 7, Phil Huber, 5'11", 185, out of Calgary, his second year in the league. The right wing, number 14, Mike Needham, 5'10", 195, from Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, his third year in the league. And the left wing, David Shazowski, in his second year in the league. He'll be 17 on the 12th of December, 6'1", 190 pounds, out of Edmonton, Alberta. For the Tri-City, and then in goal tonight for the Kamloops Blazers, Corey Hirsch, or rather Dean Cook, I'm sorry, 20-year-old Dean Cook, 5'10", 175 pounds, out of Crofton, British Columbia, his fourth year in the league. The Cookie Monster posting a 3.85 goals against average. Now for the Tri-City Americans, the defenseman to start will be Rob Krause, 6'2", 220, out of Jasper, Alberta, 19-year-old. And you hear the crowd react to the Americans coming onto the ice. Ladies and gentlemen, Krause, a fourth-round pick of the Washington Capitals, joined at the blue line by Shane Cole, 6'1", 205 pounds, an 18-year-old in his third year in the league, from Mankota, Saskatchewan, about 100 miles north of the Saskatchewan-North Dakota border. Traded to the Tri-City Americans from Prince Albert about 2 weeks ago. At center tonight will be number 15, Steve McNutt, 5'11", 170, from Calgary. He's an 18-year-old rookie in this league. The left wing, number 27, a co-captain for the Americans, 6'2", 215 pounds, Greg Spenrath from Edmonton. And the right wing, number 10, Greg Delcourt. Delcourt, 5'10", 185, from Kelowna, British Columbia. The right wing, Greg Delcourt. In goal tonight for the Americans, number 1, Frank Furlan. Furlan the Magician, 5'9", 165 pounds, from Nanaimo, British Columbia, 20 years old, and considered a rookie in this league. Tony, he has played absolutely marvelously.
Also on defense, number 7, Shane Cole.
Well, we seem to have a...
the right winger is number 10, Greg Delcourt.
Difficulty in
center is number 15,
Tony's gear here. We'll work on that while we take time out. 1 minute on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast.
Our singer who normally performs the Canadian anthem is ill tonight, and we apologize, and we invite you now to stand and join along with Jennifer McVeigh singing the American national anthem.
How's that look?
What's so brightly we hail, and the twilight flash gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. Gave proof through the night
singing of our national anthem by Jennifer McVeigh of the Tri-Cities. And a quick apology to our listeners from Canada. The Canadian national anthem, Monty Ingersoll, who normally sings that, not able to be in the arena tonight. And as a result, the Canadian national anthem not being sung. Two teams are on the ice and ready for the opening face-off. We'll have Huber against McNutt. McNutt winning the draw. Goes to the Americans. Shot into the Kamloops end. Around behind the Blazer net. In behind quickly is Schmidt. Schmidt with it for the Blazers. Gets it out now to Chizowski. Goes to Needham and right to McLeod. Pat McLeod with it in the slot. Shoots. Furlan stands up. Falls on it. As they rush the puck, it'll be no goal. The puck winds up laying right on the goal line. Furlan gave up a rebound that he did not expect to give up. It went straight up in the air in front of him and came down all of a sudden behind him. And I think Frank Furlan got a bit of a fright over that one. It will be the face-off will come just to the left of the Tri-City Americans goal as Furlan the Magician will, well, actually to come to Furlan's right. Face-off will be Rennie now against Huber. Won by Huber. Shot back into neutral ice, and the Kamloops Blazers go back to get it. Back for the Blazers, left behind their net. In behind is McLeod. McLeod shooting it out into neutral ice. It'll be icing as Scherstenka, no, it won't be icing. Scherstenka goes back around behind the net to Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski digs at it, trying to get it out into the area of play. Does. Gets it across neutral ice. Kwiatkowski leaving it now for Nibs. They take it into the Kamloops end, and the Blazers steal it right back. Shot into neutral ice. Jakes with it, whipping it into the Tri-Cities end. Goes in behind the Blazer net, where Dean Cook will take a look at it. Left behind now for the Blazers. Kim Deck. Deck getting it to Boyer. Zach Boyer quickly across the blue line. Looks at a shot, goes into the slot, tries to leave it behind. He does. Point blank range. A shot taken by Buchanan. Blocked by Furlan. A great block by Furlan the Magician. Puck comes back out to neutral ice, and the Blazers will reset their attack. Quick shift change for the Americans. Has it stolen away by Malone. Malone into the Kamloops end. Leaves it for Barnes. Barnes behind him to LeBrun, and LeBrun can't find it. Here comes Buchanan. Buchanan, a big drive, smothered out front by Colin Ruck. As Ruck and Rob Krause chase in after the puck. They have it in along the boards. Now Malone whips it around behind the net out to the point. A big shot taken by the point. Loved by Furlan. Furlan takes a couple of steps with it. Gets it to LeBrun. LeBrun to Barnes. Barnes 2-on-3. Barnes getting it into the Kamloops end, and LeBrun in after it. Centered, but it doesn't get to Frank Malone. Out along the boards. Out to the point now. Krause shooting it in for LeBrun. Goes over LeBrun's stick, and Barnes chases it around behind the net. A wraparound move, and it's right across the slot. Shot back into the Kamloops net area from center ice. Left behind by Dean Cook. Cook gets it ahead now to Bertuzzi. Ed Bertuzzi along the boards with it. Leaves it behind for Harrison. Ryan Harrison tries to flip it into the slot. Instead, it comes out to Creighton. Creighton shot in the slot. Furlan takes a drive right in the nose as he comes out to cut off Ryan Harrison. And it's whipped back into the Kamloops end. Well, the Blazers have had a bunch of shots on goal, and Furlan has come up big so far. Puck's loose in neutral ice. Back now to Duval. Duval playing it off the boards to Spenrath. Spenrath ahead to McNutt. Gets it into the Kamloops end. McNutt goes in after it. Big hit there by Delcourt. Puck slides along the boards back into neutral ice. Back for it is Murray Duval. Duval slides it right now to Shane Cole. Back to Duval. Americans will reset the rush. It comes up to Spenrath. Goes right by Spenrath all the way into the Kamloops end. In for it behind the net. A big hit put on there. Puck comes back out, and here comes Needham. Mike Needham with it. Needham brings it up across the blue line. Checked off the puck there by Jakes, or by Duval, and he's tied to the boards. Puck comes loose, goes to Cole. Cole finds Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski 2-on-2 with Spenrath. Spinner can't get to the puck. Around behind the net goes Dean Cook. They tie it up in a corner. Blazers try to work it out. They get it to the point. Jake shot wide of the net. Jake shooting it across in front of the net. Wide. Goes into the left corner. Kwiatkowski and Spinrath dig for it. Centered right in front to McNutt. McNutt losing it there to Needham. And it's dumped back into the Kamloops, and Blazers will play it. Dean Cook playing it out now to McClelland. Darwin McClelland gets it out to Boyer, or to Shazowski. Shazowski fakes a shot at the blue line, loses it. Kwiatkowski tried to get it to Trevor Sand. Over to Robertson. Robertson losing it. Back to Sand along the boards. Goes back to Sherstenka. He shoots it back up, intended for Robertson. Goes by him, and McLeod gets it. Now there's Trevor Sand racing in after it. We have a whistle. Sand was offside. For the Kamloops Blazers and the Tri-City Americans, we are tied at no score in the hockey game very early in the game. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott at Tri-Cities Coliseum. As the faceoff will come just inside the Americans' blue line. Faceoff taken by McGowan. McGowan losing it back at the blue line, but it's shot back in once again by Buchanan. Around behind the net. It comes out to Nibbs. And it's shot back into the Kamloops end. Whipping around behind the net. Rennie trying to get in there to catch Dean Cook out of position. Can't do it. Puck's loose behind the net. Now the Blazers have it. McLeod getting it ahead to Boyer. Boyer dumping it into the Americans' end. Furlan plays it off his stick into the corner. Krause with it. Rob Krause tries to get it ahead now to Nibbs. He shoots it along the boards. After it is Rennie along with McLeod. Nibbs fans on it. McLeod trying to kick it away. He does. But right there is Rob Krause for the Americans. Krause shoots it right now. Up comes Ruck. Ruck can't handle it. Taken away from him by McGowan. McGowan centers and it goes right through the slot. Off to the right side. Again, the Blazers whip it through the slot. Loose puck, and Nibbs will shoot it up along the dasher board. Out to center ice, and is ripped in there by Don Schmidt, and Furlan will block it. There was a shot in the NBA last night that came from center ice and scored. A big slap shot. Not that one, but needless to say, comes out along the left boards, and Malone dumping it into the Kamloops end. Malone wheels in after it, but the Blazers control it. Bertuzzi out to Duval. Duval's shot goes behind the net, and Barnes is right there. Barnes around behind the net now. Stu Barnes beats one man, doesn't beat the other. Ryan Harrison, 2-on-2. Harrison across the blue line. Gets it right to Cruz. It's slapped loose in the slot. Furlan a block. Another big save as Cruz slid in there, and the Americans shoot it back to neutral ice. Furlan has come up big in this period so far. Puck shot to Shane Cole. Cole to Duval. Duval with it across neutral ice. Duval being checked by Hubert. Nearly loses it to Hubert. They lose it. Big time giveaway to Needham. Needham with it. Has it slapped away. And it goes back into the Kamloops end. The Blazers bring it right back up to Mike Needham. Needham with it. Needham to McNutt. McNutt with the puck. Or Sherstenka rather. Dumps it into the Kamloops end. Into the Blazer end. Big hit down there below the net. Puck comes around to Creighton. Creighton with it. Whips it off the glass. Back into neutral ice. 13 minutes to go. First period. Furlan out to play it. Barnes knocks it right back to Furlan. Now the Americans have to scramble to get it out of there. To get it ahead to Spinrath. Spinrath to Duval. Dumps it into the Kamloops end. Americans in a quick shift change. The Barnes line goes off as Spinrath lays a big hit on Hubert. Centered now to Spinrath. His shot blocked by a defenseman out front. It goes to Delcourt. Delcourt right for Jakes. Jakes a drive wide of the net, and it'll come back around to Sherstenka. Dan Sherstenka as they go in and bang along the boards. Puck rolls toward Dean Cook. The Cookie Monster opens wide and gobbles it up right beside the net. 12:34 to go in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Face-off will be to the right of Dean Cook, number 33, the Kamloops netminder, known better as the Cookie Monster. It'll be McNutt facing off against number 8, Cal McGowan. McNutt and McGowan on the face-off. They dig for it, and it's controlled by McGowan. McLeod for the blue-clad Blazers. Pass stolen away by Spinrath at center ice. Back for it is Jakes. Shoots a pass ahead now to McNutt. McNutt has it stripped away. Here come the Blazers. 2-on-2. In the slot, a drive wide of the net by McGowan. Just to the right of the net as they work around. Zach Boyer tried to get it in, couldn't do it. It comes out to Deck. Deck back to Boyer. They center it. Knocked away by Delcourt. Back out to the point as McLeod goes after it. Goes down into the corner now. To the right of Frank Furlan as the magician watches on. Now the Blazers lose it back into neutral ice. Dumping it back into the Americans' end, and Kamloops will go on a shift change. This whole game's been played in the Tri-Cities end just about. Spenrath has a pass almost stolen away. It is stolen by Sador. Knocked away by Jakes, but there's Linford. Linford across the blue line, a drive. Played off of Barnes' skate. Goes to the left of the net. Malone goes in after it. Schmidt tries to center it. He does to Harrison. Harrison can't get to it. Poke checked away by Barnes. Here comes Barnes. 1-on-2. Barnes Aramba gets across the blue line. Leaves it for LeBrun. Brunner right back to Barnes. Has it knocked away by Don Schmidt. Back into neutral ice. Ruck is there. Colin Ruck hits it off the boards. Malone goes after it. Malone to Barnes. Barnes trying to get it to LeBrun. Back to Barnes, and it's knocked into neutral zone. Barnes digging at it along with the 21, Corey Anderson. Puck shot behind the Americans' net. Furlan plays it out along the boards quickly to LeBrun. Sean LeBrun with it across neutral ice. Here comes LeBrun across the blue line. Up the right side, centers it for Barnes, and he lost it. Barnes losing it right in front of Dean Cook. Now it's dumped back into neutral ice. Krause will go back for it. Krause for the Americans. Leaves it behind for Colin Ruck. Ruck hits it ahead now for Barnes. Goes up the right wing boards. Check that it's Kwiatkowski as the puck is shot back into neutral ice. Or back into the Americans' end, rather. Krause has it as he brings it out in front of the net. Phil Huber all over him. Krause, his pass stolen away by Needham. Needham in the slot. Shoots. Furlan blocks it. And it's knocked out of there by Krause. Ooh, that was scary. Big time giveaway by the Blazers. Puck loose right in the slot in front of the net, and Barnes has it. Here comes Barnes. 2-on-3. Barnes with LeBrun. Goes to LeBrun on the right, and we have a whistle. LeBrun was offside. 10:13 to go in the period. No score in the hockey game. We are tied at 2. Faceoff will come just outside the Kamloops end, and just outside the Blazer blue line. It will be Steve Rennie, the Rune Dog, facing off against Cal McGowan. Rennie and McGowan on the faceoff. They whack at the puck, and it's controlled by McGowan. McGowan tied up by Rennie, but he gets it back to McLeod. Here comes Pat McLeod with the puck. McLeod across the blue line. McLeod taken out of the play by Dirksen, and there's a big scrum down in the corner as both teams have players digging for the puck. It squirts out along behind the net, and here comes Jakes. Jakes, quick headman pass for Rennie. They thought they had a breakaway, but Rennie couldn't get to the pass. Broken up by Deck. Back to Jakes. Jakes slams it off the boards, but it goes right to Pat McLeod. Here comes McLeod. Shoots it in behind the net. Furlan will stop it. Play it back out for Jakes for Nibs. Back into neutral ice. McLeod now plays it left to Kim Deck. Deck back to McGowan. McGowan with it. Loses it short of the blue line to Cruz, and the Cruiser shoots it in behind the Americans' net. Back in after it now is Scherstenka. Scherstenka for the Americans. Dan Scherstenka bringing it out of the Tri-Cities end. Shoots it into the Kamloops end. It'll go behind the Blazer net. Cook leaves it there for Schmidt. Schmidt playing it behind him now to McLeod. As Nibs and McLeod fight for the puck, it comes out to Rennie. Rennie whips it behind him. Back behind the net. And number 2, Pat McLeod, is there for the Blazers. Taken off his stick by Harrison. Harrison digging at it with Duval. Duval and Buchanan. They'll tie it up to the right of the Kamloops net along the boards, and it will be a face-off to the right of Dean Cook. 8:51 to go in the 8:51 to go in the first period.
So spend $1 if you can, please, to support your tries.
And the face-off will come. Faceoff will come to the right of Dean Cook. Puck stolen, taken by the Blazers, stolen away at the blue line by McNutt, but shot back out of there by the Blazers. Zach Boyer. Boyer losing it to Cole. Shane Cole flips it in, but it's right on goal, and Cook will stop it there. Shot back out to the point will have a penalty coming up as the puck shot around behind the Kamloops end and a Blazer player is down. The call will be roughing, and we'll see who will take the penalty. Looks like it'll be an American heading for the penalty box. It is McNutt. Penalty will come at 11:29 of the period.
Tri-City penalty.
First power play of the night for the Kamloops Blazers.
11:29.
McNutt off for 2 minutes for roughing. And the Blazers will have their first power play of the night. Just outside the blue line of the Kamloops blue line, that is, about 65 feet from the net. Rennie against Huber. Rennie winning the draw. It goes to Murray Duval. Duval wheels through the zone. Dumps it back into the Kamloops end behind the Blazer net. McLeod with it. Pat McLeod behind his own net for the Kamloops Blazers. McLeod bringing it up. McLeod will bring it up quickly. Dumps it into the corner. Goes around right to left. In behind the Americans' net. Chizowski takes a whack at it to Needham. Kraus pops Needham in the corner. And it comes back out to Huber. Huber out to the point, now to McLeod. Back to Huber. Right of the net. McLeod head of the slot to Chizowski. Slides it across the slot. Needham was there and couldn't handle the pass. Minute 22 remaining in the Blazer power play. Goes to the right side. Kraus digging for it. Gets it loose to Rennie. Rennie 2-on-2 with Kraus. Kraus a drive, and Dean Cook easily deflecting it off into the corner. Minute 8 to go in the period. Now here comes McLeod. Pat McLeod ahead to Huber. Americans quick shift change. Delcourt comes out. Puts a bang on Huber. Puck comes up to the point. Shot ahead by the Americans. Stolen by Duval. 3-on-2. Duval, Delcourt. And Kwiatkowski centered for Kwiatkowski, but Needham is there to break it up. Needham for the Blazers. Feeds a pass on the right side. Chizowski. 3-on-2. Chizowski across the blue line and offside. In too quickly is Cal McGowan. 7:12 to go in the period. We're in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. 41 seconds remaining in the penalty to Steve McNutt. First power play of the night for the Kamloops Blazers. And the faceoff will come just outside the Tri-Cities blue line. Kwiatkowski against McGowan. McGowan winning the draw. And it goes back into the Kamloops end behind the net now. McClelland. Darwin McClelland feeds it out left. McLeod dumped into the corner, and upended is Sador. Puck goes all the way around to the right corner. McClelland with it. Centered from McLeod. McLeod left of the slot, takes it all the way to the boards. Wheels around into the corner, and Jakes pins him to the boards. Big hit there by Cole. They try to center it, and Bertuzzi was taken off the play. Puck shot back into neutral ice and back into the Kamloops end. Now it comes ahead to McClelland. Darwin McClelland drives it into the corner, goes all the way around behind the net. But there for the Americans is Jakes. Penalty's over. Dump back into the Kamloops end. Chasing it is McNutt. No help. McNutt steps out of the play, lets McClelland slam into the boards. Now he and McClelland dig for the puck as Dirksen comes in. Blazers with it. They are controlling the tempo. Harrison goes right now to Buchanan. Buchanan up the right side, up the boards to the left of Frank Furlan, to Furlan's left. Your right as you look on. The Americans dump it back into center ice. Schmidt falling down, goes back to get the puck. Don Schmidt wheels through his own zone, brings it ahead. Puck stolen away by LeBrun, but taken right back by Linford. Linford to Boyer. Zach Boyer dumps it into the Kamloops end, but the Americans have it. Puck shot ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun trying to get to it, can't. Harrison back for it for the Blazers, around behind his net. Malone all over him. They get a pass out on the left side now to Buchanan. Buchanan back into neutral ice. 5.5 minutes to play, first period. Kraus with it. Kraus a big drive. Blocked by Dean Cook, and there's nobody there for the rebound. Out to Kraus. Kraus to LeBron. LeBron back to Barnes. Barnes back to Kraus. Kraus, LeBron, or to Barnes. Barnes at the left wing. Barnes with it at the corner. Centers it for LeBron. LeBron loses it across the slot, and here come the Blazers. Chizowski to Huber to Needham. 3-on-2. Oh boy. Needham shot blocked by Furlan, and he falls on the puck. Furlan diving on the puck as they Net is dislodged by Huber. 3-on-2 breakaway, and Frank Ferlin, the magician, doing his job for the Tri-City Americans there.
Season ticket holder E. Lee Edgar or Betty Edgar, please report to the penalty box. You'll be the shooter for
4:58 to go.
During the first intermission, a shot.
4:58 to go in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum.
And everybody, make sure you've got your
As we have the face-off to the left of Frank Ferlin. Ferlin's left. You're right as you look on from center ice. Comes out to Deck. Deck a drive, and it's blocked by Ferlin. Another one slid from the side and shot back out by Ferlin. Puck's loose in the corner now as they dig for it just to the left of the net. Now Kwiatkowski goes in after it. Kwiatkowski for the Americans gets it to Calvin Nibbs. 3-on-3. Nibbs across the blue line. For Sherstenka. Calvin Nibbs taken off the play hard. Kwiatkowski centers it. Jakes a drive right in the net, and we'll have a whistle coming up. Sherstenka. Barnes. Penalty will be against the Blazers. Barnes tries to get it to Nibbs. And now we have a whistle. It is a cross check. And it will go against the Blazers. Coming at 39 of the period. And going to the penalty box is Cruz. Paul Cruz for the Blazers going to the penalty box. Americans get their first power play of the night. Face off to the left of Dean Cook.
Kamloops penalty to number 27, Paul Cruz. 2 minutes for shoving from behind.
2 minutes for shoving from behind. There's the call against Cruz. Americans on the power play. LeBrun to Jakes as the Americans win the draw. Back to LeBrun to Jakes, head of the slot. Now to LeBrun to Jakes as they watch inside. Shot down the slot. Nibbs had a chance on the rebound and he couldn't get to it. Calvin Nibbs to Jakes. He one-times it for Barnes. A deflection by Spenrath, and it's covered up by Dean Cook. That time the Cookie Monster having to open wide and gobble the puck. Minute 37 to go in the penalty to the Kamloops Blazers defenseman Paul Cruz. Face-off will come to the left of Dean Cook. Face-off to the left of Dean Cook. And it's won by the Americans. LeBrun with it. Back to Jakes. To LeBrun. Gets it down for Nibbs. Can't handle it. It goes to Spenrath in the corner. Back out front now to Jakes. Jakes over to LeBrun. Barnes in the left of the net. Back out to LeBrun now. LeBrun to Jakes. Jakes back to LeBrun. LeBrun inside to Nibbs. Barnes a drive. Partially blocked out front by McLeod. Nibbs chasing it after it. Up ends Huber. Here comes Nibbs. Nibbs a shot. Goes around wide of the net. Comes out along the boards. Barnes and LeBrun. Stolen away there by Needham. Foot race. Needham gets it. Jake started to break him away. Check him off the puck. Ferlin comes out. Looks for an opening. Ferlin with it. Way out of the net. Plays it ahead to Nibbs. Nibbs to Spenrath. One-on-one. Spenrath is going to... Well, they got a whistle behind the play. Spenrath had Cook all lined up for a shot there, and Cook was way out of the net. But we'll bring it back to center ice for a two-line pass. Only the second penalty of the period. 48 seconds remaining in the first period. In the penalty, 3:09 in the first period. No score in the hockey game. Barnes against Ryan Harrison. Barnes winning the draw. Goes to Jakes. Americans on the power play. Jakes left to Malone. Malone with it. Plays it around the boards into the corner. Comes out to the point. Jakes keeping it in play. Back out front now to Barnes. Barnes, Duval. Back to Jakes. To Murray Duval. Duval slides it across for Malone. His drive blocked out front by Creighton. Americans shoot it in behind the net. Right to left to Barnes. Barnes getting it now to Kwiatkowski. Malone tried to stick it, couldn't. Shot through the slot. Back out to Jakes. Jakes with it. Round to the right point. Jakes with it. Back over to Murray Duval. Duval feeds it left to Barnes. Barnes out on the left wing now. Barnes looking into the slot, a drive. Rebound comes out, and Malone can't get wood on it. Out to Duval. Penalty is over. And out of the penalty box comes Cruz. Barnes through the slot, takes a wrist shot, blocked. And it's shot down the length of the ice. It'll be icing as soon as Jakes goes down to touch it for the Americans. 2:06 to go in the period, as both teams with one power play opportunity, and both teams coming up empty on the power play. 2:06 to go in the first period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. We'll have a couple of interviews for you at the intermission. Tony Ott will have those. And a special feature with Americans trainer Jim Craig a little bit later on. Face off to the left now of Dean Cook. Face off, right on the face off. McNutt falls right directly on the puck as he faced off that time with Zach Boyer. And it will be another face-off, this time to the left of Dean Cook. 2:03 to go in the period. No score in the hockey game so far. On the face-off, won by McNutt. McNutt back out to Shane Cole. Cole, a drive wide of the net. Just blocked wide of the net. And the Blazers shoot it down into neutral ice. Back for it quickly is McGowan. McGowan losing it, but Zach Boyer there to pick it up. Boyer's drive, and Cole takes it on the skate. Left of the net, a shot. McGowan, he's a little bit wide. And it comes around to McGowan on the left wing. McGowan shoots it back underneath, but it's slapped away by Shane Cole. Out to the point, lost by Deck. Deck shoots it behind him. Back to the blue line now are the Blazers as McGowan brings it in, and we have a call at the blue line. Our intermission guest will be Kelly Cudowitz. We'll be talking with Tony Ott, the Americans defenseman acquired from Saskatoon. We'll be talking a little bit about the game. He's taking a night off with a pulled muscle, which causes him to be unable to play tonight, and the Americans have fully healthy players who can play. So Cutter gets a night off, and we'll have a chance to talk to him in the first intermission. On the face-off, won by the Blazers. Shot around behind the net. In after it is Kwiatkowski into the Americans' end. Huber with it for the Kamloops Blazers. Now stolen away by Krause. Shot all the way back out to neutral ice. Lost there by McLeod. Here comes Rennie all over McLeod. McLeod turning away from him. Gets a puck pass ahead to Huber. Huber to Shazowski. 1 minute to play. Jakes goes in to touch it. We'll have icing as Jake slaps it right into the linesman's backside for the icing call. 55 seconds to play. We're in the last minute of the first period. Still no score. It was 3-3 tie last night. These two teams match up pretty evenly in this arena. They don't match up quite as easily quite as well in the Blazers home arena. Face off to the right of Dean Cook. Your left as you look on from center ice. It'll be Sean LeBrun against number 7, Hubert. Barnes would have taken the face off, but he was chased out of there by the linesman because of doing a little extra jockeying. Barnes back in for it as the Americans control the puck. It goes to LeBrun. Hubert smacks him. LeBrun reaches around, gets it to Barnes. Barnes to Malone, and Malone scores. Barnes, a neat little pass, slid it right across the slot. In fact, slid it right across the goalie crease to Malone, and Malone wrists it in. Frank Malone from Stu Barnes. Well, now the referee washed it off. Take that one away. Barnes yapping at the referee, and I don't blame him. And you hear the fans as they begin to realize that the goal was wiped out. And face-off will come outside the blue line. The goal was disallowed. You hear the fans respond. On the face-off, Harrison, we did not get a reason the goal was disallowed. May be able to get it from Barry Kilburn during the intermission comes out to McLeod.
The puck went off the skate, and therefore the goal was disallowed.
Referee ruled the puck went off his skate, and the goal was disallowed. 38 seconds remaining in the first period. LeBrun ahead to Barnes along the boards. Now LeBrun poking at it. Here comes LeBrun. LeBrun a drive. Rebound comes right back out to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi with it, takes it through the neutral zone. Tied up by Rob Krause. They get the puck loose in neutral ice. Malone with it. Frank Malone. Malone taking it across the blue line into the Kamloops end. Back for it is Schmidt. Stolen away by Jakes. Jakes trying to get it to Barnes. Barnes trying to fight off a stick check of Boyer. Out to LeBrun. LeBrun blasts one. Loose in the slot as it's taken by Jakes. Rebound came down to Barnes from Dean Cook. And now it'll be icing as Krause will go back for it. For the Tri-City Americans, 3 seconds remaining.
The concession stands are open for your enjoyment. We also
3 seconds remaining in the period.
Prohibits the consumption of alcohol by anyone under the age of 21 years.
No score in the hockey game. 3 seconds remaining in the first period. And now the referee over to have a word with the official score. We'll have to wait and see what it is. As we had the whistle for the stoppage of play. Now the referee talking with Rob Krause. Krause mostly listening. Now he begins to nod his head. Yes, sir, I got it. You bet. Whatever it was you said, I understood it. And the face-off will come at center ice. 3 seconds remaining on the clock. Well, let's see. The teams are clearing the...
There was a malfunction. The first period.
Well, the clock malfunctioned apparently, and the first period is over.
We'll have our first period.
So that's the way that ended. That's kind of a funny ending. But at the end of the first period, the score, the Tri-City Americans nothing, Kamloops Blazers nothing. Back in 2 minutes on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast.
High school band with us tonight from Findlay.
The Bible, the Word of God. For thousands of years, it has...
Krause dumping it into the Kamloops end. Blazers chasing it after it quickly as Kim Deck, and will have icing against the Tri-City Americans. As the puck is shot back into the Kamloops Blazer end. The face-off will now come out to the left of Frank Ferland. Face-off, Huber against McNutt. McNutt wins it again. Back for it is Shane Cole. They're in the Tri-Cities end. Cole whipping it around the net to Delcourt. Delcourt trying to get it into neutral ice. He does, but Deck slaps it back into the Blazer or Americans end behind the Tri-Cities net. Cole back for it as Ferland leaves it behind. Now the Blazers bringing it up quickly. Up into the corner as Deck whips around behind the net for it. Deck tried to get it to Shazowski. Play broken up as Deck, or as Shazowski and Huber collided. The puck goes right in front of the Kamloops net as the Americans try to get it. But there's a Blazer defenseman back for it, and we have a whistle.
And we're going to have a high sticking, I believe. And it looks like Steve McNutt.
Well, let's wait and see. Yeah, McNutt appears to be heading for the penalty box.
And if looks could kill, what do you think Steve McNutt has on his mind? Boy, he was just stare dead right there. I mean, that was...
Penalty comes at 45 seconds of the period. Power play number 2 for the Kamloops Blazers. Both of these teams having their share of trouble with the power play.
Dennis LaRue, our referee tonight, calling that. It's quite a look Steve McNutt gave.
It sure is. Face-off just outside the blue line, controlled by the Blazers. Back for it is McLeod. Pat McLeod will bring it up himself. He is a very offensive-minded defenseman. Dumps it into the Americans' hand.
Lots of hard hitting going on right now.
Big hits along the boards, and they almost got the referee as the puck dumped back into neutral ice by the Americans. And the crowd giving them a good hand there as they do the job defensively. Now here comes McClellan with it. Darwin McClellan goes left to Boyer. Zach Boyer is belted out front by Jakes. Barnes with the puck, rips one right up along the boards, and it goes all the way in behind Dean Cook's net. Cookie Monster comes out to play it to Boyer. Boyer leaving it for McLeod. McLeod with it as he wheels through his own zone. Barnes all over him. You want to give one up to Barnes right in front of your net? No, you don't. Not if you can help it. Puck shot the length of the ice. Back forward is Krause. Krause ahead to Barnes. 59 seconds on the penalty. Barnes 2-on-3. Barnes in the slot. A drive deflected out front off the stick of McClelland. Taken out of there by Cruz here, or by Schmidt. Don Schmidt around behind the net. Schmidt in a hurry. Up to center ice. His pass knocked down by Murray Duval. Dumped into the Kamloops end by Calvin Nibbs. Cook around, leaves it behind the net now for Buchanan. Rennie racing in there in a hurry, but nothing doing as they get it out now to Harrison. Harrison nearly stripped by Rennie. Puck shot into the Tri-Cities end. Furlan around behind the net. He'll whip it out, knocked down in the slider shot.
Great save.
Furlan responds quickly to make the save. That was scary. Furlan out of the net, played it, and Harrison knocked it down. Took a shot at point-blank range, and Furlan just barely managed to scramble back in. As they whip around the boards behind the Kamloops net. Huber getting it ahead now to Needham. Mike Needham across the blue line to Huber. A wrist shot, and it's buried by Furlan. To Shazowski in the corner on the rebound. Comes out to Jakes. Jakes trying to get it from Huber. Gets it ahead to McNutt. McNutt to Rennie. Rennie 2-on-2. Headman pass to Spenrath, and it's knocked away by Creighton. Goes into the left corner, left of the net. Corey Creighton. Puck shot into neutral ice. Back out to the blue line. Penalty's over. Jakes with it as McNutt wheels back into the play. Now here comes Shazowski. Shazowski in ahead of Needham. Takes it into the corner. Furlan behind the net. He plays it back out, but Deck is there. Kim Deck for the Blazers tries to center it. Stolen away by Rennie. Ahead to Sen. Here comes Trevor Sen, 2-on-2 with Spenrath. Sen, a drive to Spenrath. He tried to get the rebound and couldn't do it. Good defensive play by the Blazers. Puck comes back out along the boards. Jakes chopping it back into play. Jakes losing it now to Huber. Huber 3-on-3 as Huber brings it across the blue line. Phil Huber with it. Tries to evade the hit, and he's tied up by Scherstenka. The Americans with it. Here comes Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski quickly across the blue line with Sen. Shoots it in, and Sen is just a little bit offside.
Just barely got in there. Trevor Sen. Trevor Sen showing some of his fine skating abilities. Tried to take a fake shot in there on Cook, and I'll tell you what, Spenrath was on the other side. That was really a close one. Spenrath almost had the deflection into the net.
Well, the two of them had the defenseman torn between them, and they had Cook's attention split momentarily. I think he figured out that Sen was going to go ahead and pull the trigger, and then he moved over and made the good save. 16:05 to go. No score in the game. Blazers 0 for 2 on power plays. The Americans 0 for 1 so far. But 3 penalties in the game as the faceoff won by the Americans. Barnes losing it now to Stephen Ewell. Ewell whips it around behind his net. Play broken up by Malone to Barnes. In the slot to LeBrun, and LeBrun has it chopped away from him. Back out to the blue line. Malone keeping it in play. Behind the net. Cook goes back to play it. Barnes having to dispose of Stephen Ewell.
That's a great
as
checking.
Krause come up and makes a big hit. Now, or rather, Ruck. And the puck is shot out of play. It was whipped through the bench.
Well, I tell you what, big old 6'5" Colin Ruck, if I saw him coming straight at me, I think I'd try to get out of the way as best as I could. And old
That's
Steven,
exactly what Steve Ewell did.
yeah, found himself up against the glass there. Some good checking out there tonight. Tri-City Americans using the body, trying to get something started on this 0-0 tie.
Well, somebody needs to get something started. Here we are in the second period. We played 70, 90, almost 95 minutes of hockey, and so far we have a tie in behind the net. As it goes into the Tri-Cities end, back in for it in a hurry is Barnes, Barnes with it, loses it in neutral ice to Don Schmidt. He'll whip it around the boards. Back around there is Shane Cole, and icing is called. So they'll move back down and try on the Cookie Monster.
You know, one of the things about the Cookie Monster is that he's a stand-up goalie, and with a stand-up goalie, you want to fake a stand-up goalie more than one who falls down, because he's not likely to take himself out of the play as much. You have to help him do it. And with Trevor Sen and the guys out there trying to do some faking, they've got to understand that this guy has been in the net a long time. He's a very experienced goalie. He, as a matter of fact, has the best goals against average in the WHL. He does hold the season record for that. And he's played quite a few minutes, 2,917 minutes last year with 212 goals against.
On the faceoff, it was McNutt against Harrison. Harrison will be chased out, and they'll try it again. If you appear to be getting an unfair advantage, the linesman can ask you to leave the faceoff, and it comes out to the point. Cole, a drive! Goes wide of the net. Left to Duval. Duval centered, but nobody home for the Americans. It comes off the boards. Back into neutral ice. Cole whipping it back in, and he chipped it into the crowd. Shane Cole back for it and chipped it right up over the glass into the crowd. Kurt Williamson along with Tony Ott here at Tri-Cities Coliseum.
Well, Shane Cole showing his Prince Albert slap shot, that Eastern slap shot that just rips people apart.
15:01 to play in the third period. No score, and a reminder that Steve Jakes will be our guest in the penalty box at the end of tonight's game. So fans, another opportunity to meet one of the Tri-City American players, one of the Americans' co-captains. Round behind the net, Furlan almost taken out by Duval. Puck whipped around to McNutt. McNutt with it across neutral ice. 2-on-3. Gets it ahead to Delcourt. Delcourt into the corner. Delcourt all the way around behind the net. Creighton all over him. Puck loose. Huber has it. The Blazers dig for it along the boards to the left of the net. They get it out to Delcourt. Tried to center it to Duval. Can't do it. Delcourt and McClelland scramble for the puck. And now they take a real close look at each other. Here the fans down there banging on the glass and stomping their feet, but nothing will happen this time.
Well, Delhi doesn't like to back down too often either. They had that stare down look, McClelland and Delcourt. Well,
Delcourt's not that big. He's 5'10", 185 pounds, but he is a tough customer.
Very much so.
And the scoreboard showing what really happened down there on that one, at least, and that is two guys yapping at each other and showing a lot of mouth action and not much else.
Talking about their heritage, you think?
Each other's. Face off to the right of Dean Cook and the Kamloops end. Americans win the draw. Comes out to the point. A drive across the slot. Dirksen couldn't get wood on it for the deflection. Goes into the corner. Dirksen and Rennie dig for it. Now Rennie goes in on Cook. Around behind the net as Cook blocked him once. Goes to Dirksen and Robertson. Robertson digs for it. Goes into the corner. Robertson along with Huber. Robertson takes Huber off the play. Now McGowan dump. And they get it back into neutral ice to the Kamloops Blazers. The Americans with a big opportunity there as Jakes whips around behind the net, working on Shazowski. Leaves it behind now for Krause. Krause shoots a pass out quickly to Robertson. Robertson for Rennie, and it's broken up by Kim Deck. Jakes in to break it up, but he gets it off his stick. Off his stick to McGowan. McGowan in the corner. Back out to the point where Rennie takes it away from Deck. Rennie leaving it behind now for Robertson. Robertson shoots it into the Kamloops end. Knocked away by the Blazers, but back into neutral ice as Krause dumps it in. Blazers with it. Deck will start to bring it out. Kim Deck gets a pass ahead to Shazowski. Shazowski shovels it into the Tri-Cities end. Back for it is Duval. Murray Duval ahead to Malone. Frank Malone across the blue line, has it taken away by Schmidt. Schmidt for the Blazers as they wheel back and forth. Up and down the ice, Cruz, and has it stick checked away by Krause.
Nice
back
play.
to Schmidt, centered, and it's poked away by Duval. Now here comes Barnes, one-on-one. Stu Barnes, Barnes one-on-two, and he has it poked away from him by David Linford. Good work by Linford as Barnes has to chase after him along the boards. Now the Blazers with it. They lose it at the blue line, but right back for it is Harrison. Harrison 2-on-2, a drive, and Furlan puts it away.
And I'll tell you what, coming in over there on the right-hand side was Ed Bertuzzi was coming in on the right side there, and that was a controlled rebound by Frank Furlan. And it's a good thing. Bertuzzi had a nice open shot.
Frank put it right where he wanted it, right up into the crowd.
You know, some streaks were snapped last night in that 3-3 tie, the 7-game point-scoring streak by the defenseman Pat McLeod, number 2. He's got 13 points, and believe this, Kurt, he's got 13 of his 22 points on the road this year.
Yeah, he's been pretty impressive. Has it shot from the point
and a goal.
I thought that went behind the net. Came out to the right point. It beat Furlan. Shot was taken apparently by McClelland.
I think that had everybody fooled. Oh, Frank he wants it to be behind the net.
Well, it looked to me like it just rolled behind the net, didn't it?
It looked exactly like that from up here.
Well, McClelland, I believe, will get credit for the score. We'll check with the PA announcer, Tom Lathan, in a moment here.
I think it may have been deflected by one of the sticks inside, but that had everybody fooled.
Kamloops' first goal tonight scored by number 7, Phil Huber, with an assist from number 24, Darwin McClellan.
Well, the Blazers lead 1-0. Big scrum along the left side of the net. And now Duval taking a poke. Whoa! As Ferlin really being roughed up inside, and Duval came in to help Ferlin out a little bit. Ferlin is really hot as he got slammed into the corner of the net.
Shane Cole went in there and decided to stamp the stick's name on Trevor Buchanan's face.
Well, and Kwiatkowski is going to go for a penalty.
Oh, boy.
And I think we'll get roughing. Let's see.
That was 25th goal for Phil Huber, by the way. It's 25th of the season.
I have McLeod with 36 points already on the season, which is something like amazing. 738 for a defenseman. He may lead defenseman in this league.
You know, and I'm going to check that too. I think you're right. I think that is a true statistic there.
That is his 10th goal, 27 assists for McClellan. A bunch of those against the Americans too, by the way.
Penalty to number 24, Aaron Kwiatkowski, 2 minutes for high sticking.
High sticking the call on the power play.
Another
score!
goal.
They got it to Szynzowski.
Well, I tell you
was
what,
really costly.
that sure was. That ends the penalty right there.
So the Blazers go 1 for 3 on power plays. A beautifully executed score. It just went right across the slot. There was Phil Huber, or Szynzowski rather.
Szynzowski with assists from number 7, Phil Huber, and number 28, Don Schmidt. Time of the goal at 7:47.
7:47 of the period, a power play goal, and the Blazers now lead 2-0. That first goal came at about 7 minutes of the period, so they scored twice in less than a minute. Barnes with it off the face-off. Barnes in neutral ice. Wheels around, heads for the blue line. Barnes had to leave it behind for Jakes. Jakes getting it across the blue line, but a shot back into the neutral ice area. Back for to Scherstenka, ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun for the Americans now, in for Malone, into the corner. As Malone and Schmidt chasing along with the boards for it. Goes into the right of the net. And now Barnes trying to dig it away from Don Schmidt. Pokes it loose, but back for it real quick is Ryan Harrison. Harrison gets it to Sador, but it's taken away by Scherstenka. Dan Now LeBrun with it. LeBrun across the boards. LeBrun gets it ahead to Barnes. Barnes, and offsides against the Americans will be the call. My, oh my, Tony, when it goes bad, it just goes bad.
And it can go bad so fast and so quick in this game. Hockey is a very quick game. And just, you know, like 3 minutes ago, it was 0-0. And now with 11:25 left in the second, it's 2-0 the Blazers.
We'll have to get the exact time of that first goal, Huber's goal. See if we can get it for one of the off-ice officials here. As the Americans win the draw, Krause trying to shoot it through neutral ice. Comes off of Cruz's skates. Back to Shane Cole. Cole losing it. Here come the Blazers, 3-on-2. Blazers with it as they wheel through the zone. 3 Americans back now. Everybody back, and offsides the call.
I believe it is.
That was a real cute move, just a little too cute for the Langsman's taste, I think.
You're the lucky fan. We'll take a shot.
11:05 to go in the second period. Blazers lead 2-0.
Now this is the 3rd game in a row for the Kamloops Blazers, and they played Friday night, lost a tough one, and they tied last night, so they're 0-1-1 right now going into the 3rd game tonight in a row.
McGowan against Rennie. Cal McGowan. He has 16 assists on the season. Face-off won by McGowan. It goes to Scherstenka. Scherstenka airs it into the Kamloops end, into the corner. Cook back to plate. He'll whip it around the boards, but it comes out to Jakes. Jakes takes a big hit there by Cruz. Tied up the puck along the boards. Chipped back into neutral ice by the Blazers. Back for it is Dan Scherstenka. He'll have to work to get it around Ed Bertuzzi. Gets it up along the boards. Now the Blazers have it in the slot. McGowan chips it for Cruz, and Cruz can't get to it. Good defensive play by Spinrath, who paced McGowan to the boards. Back out once again to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi has his stick handled away. Now into neutral ice it goes to Rennie. Dogger 1-on-2. Can't beat his defenseman, and McClelland has it. Shoots a pass ahead now to Cruz. Paul Cruz with it. Gets it to Creighton. Creighton a drive, and it's wide, and then it comes down behind the net as Kamloops in a shift change. Back behind the net, Dan Scherstenka. Here's that Huber, Shazowski, Needham line once again for Kamloops with McLeod and Creighton, the D-men. McLeod back for it, and icing is called.
Now bring it all the way back down.
Well, that line has done all the damage so far. The center is Huber, and the wings are Shazowski on the left and Mike Needham on the right. And I'll tell you, that line is so good, they're scary.
And Huber now has 45 points already in the 27th game.
10:01 to go in the period, in the second period here at Tri-City Coliseum. 2-0. Blazers leading the Americans. Barnes on the face-off against Huber. Huber winning the draw. Has it checked away from him by Malone. Malone to LeBron. Headmans it to Barnes. Slides down to the right of the net. Racing in after it is Barnes, but the Blazers have it. Out to Huber. Phil Huber with it. Shoots it in behind the net to Kim Deck. Deck now for the Kamloops Blazers. Brings it ahead to Shazowski. Stick handled away from him by LeBron, but back to Huber. Huber slides it in front of the goal, and Ferland covers it up and has a good quick look at David Shazowski. Ferland talking to his defenseman. Said, good night, guys. Give me a break here.
Pretty good crowd tonight here in the Coliseum.
Not capacity. I would guess maybe 4,800, 4,900.
Okay, Kirk, let's see. I'm going to go with 45. How's that?
All right, I'll say, yeah, over 48.
Okay. And they're getting into it a little bit, showing a little enthusiasm.
9:33 to go, second period. Face-off won by the Blazers. Big drive from the point. Schmidt from the left point. Goes behind the net. Shot out into neutral ice for the Americans. Schmidt back for it. Schmidt with it. Whips it along the boards for the Blazers. Back behind the Americans' net. Krause is there. He shoots it up into neutral ice. LeBron will chase it. LeBron couldn't handle Krause's pass. Behind the net is Shazowski. Whips it along the boards. Back to David Shazowski as he steals the Americans' pass. Not Shazowski, it's Linford. Linford shot blocked away and offside called against Kamloops. As Ferland comes out to make the stick save.
A little bit of a leg save there. You know, those guys, goaltenders have to be so limber, and the stretching exercises they do are just intense. You can catch them here if you're here early enough at the game. You can see them out there working up against the boards and how they do their stretching. Yeah, puts the pretzel makers into, you know, wondering how they can make different things. It looks like these guys are incredibly limber.
And the face-off won by McNutt. McNutt to Scherstenka. Scherstenka with it, whips it across the blue line. Tries to split the defense, goes into the corner. Where Delcourt and McNutt have it. McNutt wipes himself out along the boards. McNutt to Delcourt, just beside the net. Tried to center it, can't do it. Taken away from him by the Blazers. McGowan back out to the blue line. Jakes losing it. Can't keep it in play. Jakes will be our post-game guest. Scherstenka with it around behind the net. Dan Scherstenka for the Americans. Brings it out to Delcourt. Delcourt, bad pass intended for McNutt. Stolen away by McLeod. McLeod right to Anderson. They center it right in the slot. Ferland blocks it away.
Nice leg save by Frank Ferland.
The Americans chip it ahead to McNutt. McNutt to Nibbs. Back to McNutt, and he shoots it into the corner. Nibbs races in after it with Deck. Now Rennie on. Big hit by Nibbs on Corey Anderson out to Krause. Krause a drive. Blocked by Dean Cook, and we have a Kamloops Blazer down out at the point. Don Schmidt. Is it McGowan?
Check that.
Yeah, it is Cal McGowan. He really got popped out there.
And he's really hurting.
That was a big drive, and it looked like it hit him right in the ribs. Now we got a couple of guys yapping at each other.
Corey Anderson was pushing Steve Jakes out there at the red line. And we got something else happening. There's all kinds of excitement.
Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, now Jakes is taking his helmet off.
And still nobody's at Cal McGowan down there.
Now, Huber goes over to talk with McGowan. I'm not quite sure who all or what all was involved in that one.
I think they're going to have a dance, and they're trying to grab partners here.
Well, it kind of looked that way. The referee yelling at Jakes. The linesman trying to get in between about 5 guys who wanted to go at it.
Spike Wallace out there, the trainer for the Kamloops Blazers, helping Cal McGowan onto the bench. And he's a little bit slow. He took quite a pop out there from Jakes.
8:03 to go in the second period, and the Blazers leading 2-0 over the Tri-City Americans.
They're trying to get things worked out. Looks like a face-off over there to the right.
Face-off will come to the right of Dean Cook in the face-off circle. Now Huber having some words with the referee. Not sure quite what that's all about. Apparently satisfactory to Huber as Bill Huber skates away. He's out of Calgary in his second year in the league. Face-off won by the Americans. Krause a drive. Blocked out front. Chizowski for the Blazers right to Needham. Needham dumping it into the Tri-City's end. Krause whips in after it in a hurry. Gets a big hit there by Ewell. Puck goes right in front of the net. Blocked, but Ferland tried to get a stick on it. Couldn't do it.
And it looks like a penalty coming up, a delayed. That's
As
what
the
it
puck
is.
comes out to the out along the board, Chizowski and Jakes going at it there. Now the referee LaRue says slashing is the call.
Don Schmidt.
And Schmidt. That'll give the Americans their second power play of the night. Penalty to Schmidt coming at 12:18 of the period.
And Don Schmidt has 3 goals and 4 assists on the season for 7 points. And another thing, all 7 of his points this year, Kirk, are also on the road. Yet Kamloops has one of the worst records on the road. It's amazing. These guys can play on the road, but yet they can't put that old W up.
7:42 to go in the period. Kirk Williamson along with Tony Ott at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Face-off won by Barnes. Back to Jakes. To Nibbs. They get it in along the boards. Nibbs whipping it around the dasher board to Spenrath right to left. To Barnes. Barnes and Spenrath digging at it. They get it out to the point to LeBrun. Back to Jakes. Jakes to Nibbs. Nibbs! A drive, but it's wide of the net. Now Barnes back out to Colin Ruck. Ruck and Jakes at the blue line. Or LeBrun and Jakes, rather. LeBrun to Jakes. Jakes head of the slot. A drive! Blocked by Cook. Rebound comes out to Nibbs. Back to Jakes. Jakes another shot.
Glove
and
save.
A great glove save by Dean Cook.
What a shot by the Jakes man. He throws one right at the upper glove side, and through all the defense down there and all the interference, Dean Cook with a great glove save right there.
Oh, he really cranked that one up and cut it loose. Face-off will come to the left of Dean Cook. His left-hand side, your right as you look on. Cookie Monster wearing that glove on his left hand. A right-handed goalie, stick in his right hand. Barnes and Harrison. Face-off won by Barnes. Out to Jakes. Jakes starts in a drive right in front of the net. Back to Jakes. Jakes chips it again. Scores! Scores! Penrath getting the score.
Steve Jakes in there, threw a great little wrist shot. The rebound came out, and on the ground, Greg Spenrath with a hook stick puts it right in behind Dean Cook. It's 2-1. Kamloops still ahead.
And a power play goal for the Americans. Their first of the night. They're 1 for 2 on power plays. And it comes at 13:05 of the period.
Tell you what, any way you can get them, we'll take them, right?
Well, Barnes getting an assist there, too. You hear the crowd react as soon as they say Barnes' name. Stu! Stu! 2-1. The Americans trail the Kamloops Blazers. And the crowd really starting to get into this a little bit now.
Yeah, that's what they need, that extra play.
Rennie with LeBrun and Malone. Circling around as they get ready to take the face-off. The K-boys, Cole and Krause. As Don Schmidt, leaving the game, apparently headed for the locker room, turned around and just destroyed his stick back in the walkway. Not sure what that was all about. Rennie, as the Americans win the draw, goes in behind the Blazer net. Puck goes out to the right of the net, comes out to the point to Krause. Rob Krause a drive, blocked out front. Rebound comes out to Kamloops. Here come the Blazers. Buchanan, his shot, knocked down by Cole, but the Blazers 2-on-1. Bad pass from Boyer to Harrison, right of the net, right out in the slot. Brun overskates it, and Cole chips it up to Sean LeBrun. LeBrun losing it now. Buchanan loses it. Checked off of it, and Krause will whip it into neutral ice. Deck keeping it in play, but the Americans have it. Malone, 3-on-3 to LeBrun. Shot into the corner. LeBrun as he takes McClelland in hard. In after it for the Americans is Rennie. Shot by Cole, blocked by Cook, and a stoppage in play.
I think Dean Cook wants to get the team together and say, come on, let's regroup. Let's start working out some plays. Let's get the puck out of this end and start attacking down at the other side. Give Frank a little time to block some of these shots.
2-1 the score. Blazers leading the Tri-City Americans by a score of 2-1. Well, I don't know what that was exactly all about with Don Schmidt, Tony. I don't think you can see it, but back in the walkway just before that faceoff, Schmidt stomping off the bench and just shredding his stick along the wall as he left the Blazer bench. Barnes against Huber. Barnes winning the draw, goes into the corner. Americans with it. Wrap around Barnes, and chip shot by Delcourt. Missed. Comes out to Jakes. Barnes in after it. Barnes hooked by Shazowski. Loses the puck. Goes right in front of Cook. And the Americans lose it back of the blue line. Back into neutral ice. Delcourt will whip it in. Delcourt shoots it into the corner. Barnes on Huber. Oh, did he put a hit on Huber? And the Blazers shoot it back into neutral ice. Jakes with it. Jakes leaving it at the corner. Jakes upended by Huber. Barnes with it along the boards as they try to dig it loose. Barnes getting it to Delcourt. Delly races in after it, but Linford is there. Linford and Delcourt along with Huber, and now here comes Barnes trying to get a piece of that puck. Comes out to the blue line. Jakes a drive. Ooh, almost rebound, almost deflected in. Now shot loose by the Blazers and back into neutral ice. Back for Steve Jakes. Jakes wheels around through his own zone, brings it up. Dumps it into the Kamloops and Americans in a shift change. Cook comes out and plays it out from behind his own net. Out along the boards. Puck staying in play as Nibs and Cruz bang away, and now they shoot it cross ice. Comes back in front of the Americans' net. Ferland playing it out. Oh, great lead pass for Barnes, but maybe a little too much. Barnes blocking it. They get in front of the net. Puck's loose as Cook had to come out and take Barnes on face on. And Dean Cook doing a great job to beat Stu Barnes there. He tried to shoot that out of trouble. Barnes took it right in the chest and then came back and tried to get a shot as he crashed into Cook. What a play by Stu Barnes. And Cook for that matter.
That's right. Got to give credit to Cook there, too. He regained his control, got back to the net. And it's just kind of an unfortunate thing that the puck didn't bounce the way that the Americans like to see it, and that's right over that little red line out there.
2-1 the score, and I think we're going to have a penalty shot. We are.
That is what it's going to be.
And Stu Barnes will get the Americans' first penalty shot of the game, or of the season, actually. There was one awarded up in Kamloops a couple of weeks ago.
And this is going to be a real good thing. Now, remember,
Barnes was interfered with. That's what the referee says.
What it is.
Now, this is strength on strength. Barnes against Dean Cook.
What a matchup.
Cook working himself up in the crease. The crowd's got the wave going. Both teams back at their benches. Barnes wheels around through his own zone.
Look for Stu to shoot it low and to the stick side. That is the best spot you can put it on a goalie. That is their weakest spot.
Ferland back there watching the fun. He was in the barrel a couple of weeks ago. Now here comes Barnes. Barnes across neutral ice, picks up the puck, takes it in on Cook, goes left, moves.
He went the opposite way and put it up above Dean Cook's glove and up into the upper right side. We've got a tie hockey game, 2-2. Stu Barnes.
And it comes at 15:28. Barnes beating Dean Cook. And you hear the crowd as they congratulate Barnesy. He was interfered with as he went in on Dean Cook. And we're tied at 2.
Well, just like that, we're back at a tie game.
You talk about a Barnes-orama. That was it. Barnes skating around his own zone, picked up speed, raced across the red line, picked up the puck where it was, right at center ice. Took it in on Cook, went to his left, gave him a move to the left, and beat him to the glove side.
And you know, that just shows you the type of skill that Stu Barnes has, because he has been in situations where he's got to shoot on goal, and most goalies will lean a little bit. He saw him leaning over to his stick side, his weakest side. Stu Barnes picked that up and shot it right over top of his glove and into the net.
Well, there's been a timeout called, but we'll keep it here because timeouts in hockey don't last long, as we are tied at 2. Barnes' goal coming at 15:28 of the period. Spenrath from Jakeson Barnes. Barnes on the penalty shot, which is an unassisted goal, and that is a real pumper-upper.
That's pretty to watch, too.
That's the first penalty shot we've seen here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. You get one of those awarded if you're interfered with on a clean breakaway.
That's good.
Now Krause coming out on the ice, waving his hand to the crowd, saying, hey, let's keep it going here, folks. Rennie with Malone and LeBrun. Rennie winning the draw to Krause. Krause shooting it into the Kamloops end, along with LeBrun, and it's dumped back into neutral ice for the Blazers. Puck shot all the way back the length of the ice, around behind the net. Duval in after it. Big hit on him by Harrison. Duval and Harrison. He gets it ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun and Malone, 2-on-3. As Rennie catches up with a play, LeBrun takes it in. Takes a big hit there from Stephen Ewell. Big crash along the boards as the Americans trying to keep it back in that corner. Now LeBrun centers it for Malone. Malone score! Sean LeBrun. Frank Malone goes down there, hits it off of Cook. And the rebound to Sean LeBrun, and he slid it right behind him, and the Americans have taken the lead 3-2. And it comes at 16:05. The Americans have scored 3 goals in exactly 3 minutes. Americans leading 3-2. LeBrun getting his 9th goal of the season, and the assist going to Frank Malone.
And number 23,
And Rennie also getting an assist on that play. And the Kamloops Blazers winning the draw. They bring it up quick. A shot on Furlan, blocked away, and hard into the boards goes Needham. Puck shot loose, comes into neutral ice, stolen away by Nibbs. Nibbs and Kwiatkowski, but it's taken back out of there by Shazowski. Shazowski in across the blue line to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi in the corner, hit hard by Cole. Puck shot along the boards as Nibbs wipes out. Out to the point, a drive wide of the net by McClelland. Puck goes into the corner. Back out to the point, another shot. Backhanded by Huber, can't do it. Huber from Creighton, wide of the net, and they'll scramble down along the corner. Now it's shot out to McNutt. Comes to Creighton rather. Another shot deflected by Bertuzzi, but wide of the net. Bertuzzi with it in the corner. Bertuzzi tries to get it in, has it taken away. Shazowski gets a whack at it. Now Nibbs shoots at the length of the ice. It'll roll down into the Blazer end, and back for it will be Creighton, and we'll get an icing call.
I'll bring it all the way back.
Well, Nibber just wanting to get that out of there.
That's what it was.
Give the Americans a chance to settle down a little bit.
Great hockey game.
It is indeed 3-2 the score. Or if you count it as an extension of last night's game, it's 6-5. These two teams skated for 70 minutes last night and came away with a 3-3 tie.
That was Sean LeBrun's 190th career point.
Well, LeBrun should have actually gotten an assist on that, too, because he fed it to Malone for the shot. Malone made the shot, and LeBrun got the rebound. Barnes winning the draw for the Americans. Back behind the net to Krause. Krause bringing it out. Krause feeds a pass left to Duval. Plays it off the boards. Shoots it right back to Krause. Krause chips it ahead for Delcourt. Delcourt has it stolen away now by Sador. Daryl Sador being tied up by Krause. Puck goes in behind the Americans' net. Duval takes a big hit. Puck shot back to Anderson. Stolen away from him by Barnes. Here comes Barnes, 4-on-2. Barnes feeds a pass left to Spenrath. Goes into the corner. It's chopped away from Spenrath by Linford. Duval keeping it in play. Out at the point to Delcourt. Greg Delcourt trying to get it down to Spenrath. Spenner and Barnes dig after it. Barnes around behind the net. Barnes reversing himself. Behind the net, 2 D-men all over him. They try to get it ahead to Delcourt. Can't. Out to Spinrath. Pass knocked away by Sador, and it's dumped back into the Americans' end. It's on net. Ferland will play it out to Rob Krause. Krause will bring it ahead for the Americans. Krause to Delcourt. Loses it off his skate. Tried to get it to LeBrun. Back to Krause in the neutral zone. Krause shooting it across the ice. Blazers go in after it. McClelland back in the corner for Kamloops now. He'll sky it out to the blue line. It falls in front of Scherstenka. Boyer with it. Boyer gets around Scherstenka but loses the puck to Jakes. Here comes Jakes for the Americans.
Catching him on
Jakes,
line.
headman pass to Malone. Malone tries to get it to Rennie. Can't do it from the left of the net. Rennie with it off his stick. Shot in behind the net. Cook goes been after it. Shoots it out to Deck. It comes around the boards now. Out to Cruz. Cruz shoots a pass ahead to Buchanan. Buchanan for the Blazers. Here comes Buchanan. 1-on-3. Wide of the net is Scherstenka. Keeps him out of trouble. Puck goes in behind the net. And it's taken away by Rennie. Rennie working against Buchanan. Buchanan and Rennie dig for it. Also in there is Cruz. A minute to go in the period. Americans lead 3-2. Jakes as he ties up behind the net with Buchanan and Paul Cruz.
You know, Frank Malone has had a point in each one of the games he's now played with the Tri-City Americans. Quite a pickup, you might say. Good investment here.
Certainly appears to have been. 3-2 the score. The Americans leading inside the last minute of the second period. Tri-City scoring, Spinrath scoring from Jakes and Barnes. Barnes on a penalty shot, and then LeBrun from Malone and Rennie. 3 goals in about 3 minutes for the Americans. Maybe this will be the night they'll score 7 or 8 goals.
Should be nice.
Well, they've scored 6 in a couple of 6-3 and a 6-2 game, but never more than 6. Now it'll be McNutt to take the draw against Hubert. Loses the draw. Shot from the point by McLeod. Blocked by Ferland, and a whistle. Ferland falls on the puck as Krause leans over to take a good hard look at Mike Needham. Needham's 5'10", maybe, and 195 pounds. He does not want to tangle with Rob Krause.
No. Not too many people do want to tangle with Rob Krause.
It's probably no accident that Krause lives with a hospital administrator. 3-2 the score. Americans lead. Kwiatkowski winning the draw. Gets it to Jakes. Jakes back to Kiwi. But it's 3-on-2. Stolen away by Needham. Needham with it. Needham across the blue line. Tries to get a shot. Can't. Goes to the boards and Krause hits him there. Huber with it, but he loses it to Barnes. 29 seconds to play. Here comes the Barnes-arama. Barnes with it. Back to Jakes. Right back to Barnes. Up to Kwiatkowski on the boards. Kwiatkowski's pass knocked away by McClelland. And Kwiatkowski beats McClelland. Takes it into the Kamloops end. Puck shot high in the air. Kwiatkowski dumped by Huber. Barnes and Huber in behind the net. Barnes trying to get the puck away from Huber, and the Blazers have it. Spinrath putting a big hit on along the boards. But the Blazers still control the puck out in front of the net and a whistle.
And that's the end of the second.
As the period time runs out in the period, the horning here, if anything, could be a little bit louder. You don't really notice it until the referee blows his whistle. 3-2 at the end of the second period. We'll be back in 2 minutes on this KOTY Americans hockey broadcast. And the Queen City. Called the Queen City, Regina being the Latin word for queen. There's your education for the night. You'll be tested later.
Oh, excellent. I'm writing that down.
I know I had to travel 4,000 miles to find that out in the bus.
And why are they called the Pats?
They're named after the Princess Patricia's regiment that fought in World War I.
I knew you had the answer.
That's a little bit of information that'll never earn you a dime, and you heard it right here.
That's right.
Americans 3, Blazers 2. One more period to play. For the Americans, it is the line of McNutt with Devin Dirksen and Darren Kwiatkowski. And the defensemen will be Jakes and Krause. For Kamloops, it's Huber with Needham and Chizowski. Huber winning the draw. Gets it to Deck. Deck and McLeod, the D-man. to Needham. Left to Shazowski. Shazowski whips it off the boards. A shot. Rebound comes out in front. Ferland blocks it again. Beats Huber. Centered again. And chopping at it is Shazowski. It gets behind.
And they
Ferland.
scored.
Did it score? Yes. It got behind Ferland. You give the Blazers enough whacks at it, and they're going to score.
5 or 6 different attempts down there by the Blazers, and I'll tell you what, Phil Huber, I believe, is getting his 26th goal of the year. Phil Huber is absolutely destroying the Americans tonight.
Yep. He has 2 goals on the night. Here's the announcement.
Phil Huber. Assists from number 14, Mike Needham, and number 16, David Shazowski.
15 seconds of the period. Huber from Needham and Shazowski, and now we're tied at 3. I think we've been here before, have we, Tony? Except it was the Americans scoring. Now, a pass by Kraus, knocked down by the Blazers as the faceoff goes into the Americans' end, and it's back into behind the Americans' net. Kraus with it. Kraus whipping it off the boards, intended for Malone. Stolen away by the Blazers. Back to Kraus. Kraus skies it across neutral ice. Picked up by McLeod. McLeod wheels back into his own zone with it. Here comes McLeod for the Blazers. Pat McLeod across the blue line. Gets around Duval with it, but Kraus there for the Americans to play it out to LeBrun. Now LeBrun with it. Tries to get it to Rennie. He does. Steve Rennie to Duval. Murray Duval beating Creighton across the blue line. Duval with it. Loses it at the point, but Malone keeping it in play. Oh, no, we're going to get an offside call. They say Malone drifted back over the blue line. Now you hear the crowd starting to really react here. And they can get noisy here at Tri-City Coliseum. Crowd of probably around 4,900 to watch the start of this game. Barnes against Harrison. Barnes winning the draw. Puck goes in behind the net in the Kamloops end. Out to the point. Sherstenka slides it toward Cook. Cook will block it off into the corner for McGowan. Puck almost stolen away, but the Blazers have it. They bring it into neutral ice. Cruz feeds a pass left to McLeod. Here comes McLeod. Sherstenka to break up the play. Cruz, now Barnes. Barnes with it. 3-on-2. Barnes just a defenseman there. Barnes, a shot blocked by Cook. Rebound comes out, but there's nobody there. Spenrath taking Bingham down. And the Americans have the puck. Ahead to Delcourt. Delcourt slaps it in. And we have a whistle.
I believe it's an offsides there.
Well, there's sticks down all over the ice. The linesman pointing at stick, telling somebody to go get it. Now the other linesman will do that. Face-off will come just to the Blazers side of the center ice.
What do you think old Ken Hitchcock, the head coach of the Blazers, had to say there during the second intermission?
Mumble, mumble, grumble, grumble.
And they come out 15 seconds later and tie it up.
Yeah, he may have said some other things too, I'm not sure. In fact, not against Huber on the face-off. At center ice. Puck is down, chopped at, and the Blazers have it. It goes to McClellan, plays it off his glove, gets it ahead to Huber, and Huber is dumped off the puck. Ferland comes out, slaps it in Shazowski's face. Shazowski around the net, goes left to right, brings it all the way back out to the blue line, leaves it at the point for McClellan, and that one will be put in the cheap seats. As McClellan cranks up and hits McNutt's stick, and the puck is chipped right straight up into the air, back up into the crowd beside the opening where the Zamboni machine comes in.
You know, Kirk, I think you should get one of those nets that Harry Carey has, you know, and catch foul balls.
Not me, son. I'm ducking. If that thing comes up here, I'm going to the floor.
That's right.
I know what kind of a whack those things can give you.
That's right.
Just inside the Tri-Cities blue line, running against Hubert. Running, winning the draw. Goes back to Kraus. Kraus dumps it into the Kamloops or into the neutral ice. Rennie a drive, and this was chipped into the crowd. Rennie cranked up, and that one hit McLeod's stick. Back-to-back mirror image plays almost.
Just at the other end of the rink. That's a good catch, too.
Well, those are easy. You can catch them when they go up like that, like a mortar shot, and they're spinning backwards. One of the ones you don't want to catch are the ones that are going flat edge towards you at 100 miles an hour.
And it's great to see everybody dive for him, too.
At the top of the right face-off circle in the Kamloops end, Rennie winning the draw, getting it to Jakes. Jakes to LeBron. LeBron takes it in center. Right there is Rennie, but it was rejected by Cook. Around to Kim. Deck. Deck bangs in there with Malone. Malone to Jakes. Bad pass. Deck broke it up. They get it ahead, but LeBron will stop it at neutral ice, but Boyer has it. Boyer leaving it behind now for Buchanan. And we have an offsides against the Blazers.
Went over the blue line and back across. Offside.
Tied at 3 here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Shift change for both teams. Now the Delcourt. That's an interesting line. Barnes, Delcourt, and LeBrun with Jakes and Scherstenka. Scherstenka from Edmonton, a rookie. Steve Jakes, second year in the league, a co-captain of the team, and Barnes winning the draw. Back to Scherstenka. Barnes brings it across neutral ice to Scherstenka, bringing it up. Scherstenka all the way in. Starts in on Cook. Loses it around behind the net and is chipped off into the corner. Delcourt puts a big hit there on Sador. Still a loose puck. Now Delcourt has it. Takes a hit from McLeod. Barnes whistles in behind the net. Puck chipped out of there, and Barnes took that one on his chest. Comes to Sador. Daryl Sador. Upending Jakes. The puck goes into neutral ice. Now shot back into the Kamloops end. Delcourt will chase it. Delcourt wheeling around behind the net. Hit by McLeod, but he stays with the puck. Delcourt leaving it for Barnes. Barnes around into the corner. Stu Barnes starts into the slot. Taken off his stick. Krause has it. A big drive by Krause. Deflected by Delcourt out to Barnes. Kept in play by Jakes. As Jakes is upended. Now the Blazers will have it. They shoot it out to neutral ice. Goes back into the Americans end, and it'll be icing as soon as Krause puts wood on it. And it'll come back into the Kamloops end.
You know, Kirk, one of the things that we talk a lot about is the point, and a lot of people may not understand what the point is. Now, the point is not an exact spot on the blue line. There's not really a spot that is designated the point, but mostly it is a spot where the defenseman will just be inside the blue line next to the boards,
right.
And their whole position there is to keep the puck in the attack zone. And
in hockey, there's a left point and a right point.
That's right.
Puck goes in behind the net. Back in after it quickly is Creighton on the faceoff. Creighton shooting it ahead into neutral ice. Stopped by Malone. And we have a high, it was played off high stick. I think Malone had his stick in the air. Up above the shoulders. That could have been a good opportunity. We are tied at 3. 3-3 tie here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. The Americans and the Kamloops Blazers. That's what it was last night in overtime. On the faceoff, won by the Americans. Duval to Krause. Krause airs it into the Kamloops end. Creighton for it. Creighton and Malone. Scramble for it along the boards. Comes out into the corner. LeBrun putting a big hit there on McClelland. But Huber has it. Tries to get it to Shazowski into the Americans end. And Duval has it back into the Tri-Cities end. We have a whistle.
Another offsides.
15:51 to go in the third period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Faceoff will be right at the head of the slot, just inside the Tri-Cities blue line. Faceoff will be Boyer against McNutt. McNutt winning the draw. McNutt back to Sand. They shoot it into the Kamloops end, but Deck is there to stop it. Dumped in by Trevor Sand. Goes around behind the Kamloops net. Blazers bring it out. Buchanan to Boyer. Boyer whipping it behind the net, right to left. Furlan stops it. Leaves it for Jakes. Comes out to the left point. Deck takes a whack at it. They get ahead of the slot. A shot! Blocked by Furlan. A drive there by Buchanan. Furlan blocked it, and it goes off to the right side into the corner as they scramble for it along the boards. And we'll have a stoppage now as Cruz ties up with Dirksen and look like Trevor Buchanan.
With us Tuesday night for the official grand opening of the Tri-Cities Coliseum.
Don't forget, there are tickets available for the grand opening of the Coliseum on Tuesday, featuring comedian Rich Little.
That ought to be a lot of fun.
Says he's been working on George Bush. Read my lips. George Bush. I don't do that real good, do I?
That's what Rich is for.
I don't know. 30,000 comedians out of work, and I got to try to be cute. Face-off will be to the left of Frank Furlan. Barnes against Huber as Huber goes back to get a stick, I think. Well, Huber went to get a new stick, and they're waving him off. And Ryan Harrison comes back on. The home team, the Americans, have the last change in a shift change like that, where there's a stoppage in play.
And they sent him out.
Well, they sent Delcourt out, and guess who's in? Barnes against Harrison. Nice little sucker move there, I think. Jakes to Delcourt. Delcourt to Barnes. Barnes, 2-on-3. Barnes across the blue line. Gets it to Spenrath. Spenner dumps it into the corner. Racing in after it is Delcourt. Out along the boards, and Jakes is there. Centered on the stick of Delcourt. Delcourt wipes out, falling down. Taken off his stick by number 25, Sador. Sador slides it between the legs of Scherstenka, but it's blocked by Furlan. They try to center it, and it's checked away by Scherstenka. Back into neutral ice. And we'll have an offsides against the Blazers as they puck went into neutral ice and back into the American zone, catching a couple of Blazers still in the zone.
You know, that's a tough play for Frank Furlan to make, too, when Sador came through there and did that little flip underneath the legs of Scherstenka. You know, the goalie is completely screened right there, and you've got to keep your eye on that puck. That was those are real easy plays, they look like to the fans, but to a goaltender, they're nightmares.
Huber against Rennie. Well, there's so many things going on the ice that it really can cause problems. McClelland dumping it into the Americans' end. Furlan back in, plays it out to Duval. Duval with it in the corner. Around behind the net to Krause. Krause losing it to Huber. Right out the side of the net. There's Needham. Needham, can he get a shot? No. Shizowski left. Shizowski tried to get it back to Needham. Comes to the point. McClelland to drive. Stick saved away by the Americans. Dumped into neutral ice. They tried to get it to LeBrun. Can't do it. Duval wheels back for it as Needham is upended by Rennie. Pass goes across now for Malone. Shot into the Kamloops end. LeBrun races in after it. Kicked off the stick of McClelland, but tied up on the boards. Duval and Shizowski dig for it along with Deck. Now to Huber. Huber out from behind his net. Huber almost losing it to Malone. Now Rennie taking it away from him. Dogger with it to Malone. Right in front of the goal, and it's knocked away by Dean Cook. Now the puck shot down the length of the ice. It'll go into the Americans' end. And left for Murray Duval. Duval shoots it ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun getting it to Rennie. Rennie 2-on-3. Shoots it into the Kamloops end. Shift change for the Americans as the Blazers start to bring it up. Boyer. Zach Boyer shoots it in on Furlan. A glove save. And the Magician will leave it behind it. No, he'll whip it around the boards to Rennie. Rennie with it to Robertson. Good move there by Robertson, but he loses the puck along the boards. Stolen back by Scherstenka. Kwiatkowski with it. Kiwi through center ice, dumping it into the Kamloops end. It'll go down into the left corner. Here goes Nibbs. Ooh, a big hit on McLeod. Nibbs really popped McLeod there. In along the boards. They dig for it on the right of the net. Kwiatkowski and Robertson. Now taken off a Robertson stick by Cruz. Shot back into the Tri-Cities end, and Scherstenka wheels back for it. Shoots a pass ahead to Nibbs. Nibbs dumping it into the Kamloops end. Takes a hit by Anderson. Taken away from him by Anderson, and here comes Corey Anderson. Up the left wing boards. Centered for Sador. Goes around behind the net. They try to wrap it around. Furlan is there to block it. Big hit on the boards as Nibbs takes a whack at it. It goes back into the Kamloops end. Back for it is Deck for icing.
Boy, Kamloops is really applying the pressure down there in the Tri-Cities defensive zone. And if I was to say who came out with momentum at the end of the intermission, I would have to say Kamloops is coming out.
Yeah, I think so. They scored with 15 seconds gone, 15 seconds into the period.
They're really applying the pressure down there on Frank.
But the Americans have been able to hold them so far now. Yeah. We remain tied at 3. Face off to the left of Frank Furlan. Delcourt chased out of there, and in comes Barnes. I don't know what that little maneuver is all about, but Barnes will take the face-off against Huber. And Barnes wins the draw. Goes back to Barnes. Barnes wheels around beside the net and will start to bring it out. Here comes Barnes. Headman pass intended for Delcourt. Blocked away. But Cole dumping it into the Kamloops end. Stolen away by number 6, Linford. Barnes takes it away from Linford, and we have a hooking call.
And this might go against Stu.
It is going against Tri-Cities. It'll go against number 14, Barnes, I believe. Barnes wheeling around to make sure that referee LaRue has the benefit of Stu's thinking on this subject, but basically for naught.
All right. Relatively a clean hockey game. You know that word, and I don't want to use it. Fights?
Not a one.
Not one.
And not even close, really.
No, it really has. It's been a real well-checked game.
Although I would hasten to point out that Don Schmidt has not been in the game for most of a period now. And well, they do a little repair work in front of the net, waiting. Now the referee's ready to go. There's kind of a rough spot of ice down in front of the goal at the closed end of the Coliseum, in front of where Dean Cook is minding the net. And that dates all the way back to the first night of practice here. In fact, it dates back to when Olaf Kolzig injured his knee, dug a big divot out of the ice, and it's still a little bit thin right in that spot. They'll take the ice out after tonight's game, getting ready for the Rich Little concert, and then put it back for next weekend. As the Americans win the draw, dump it into the Kamloops end. In after it is McClellan. McClellan, as Nibs takes it off McClellan's stick, takes a shot, but it's a little wide of the net. Now it's stolen again by Nibs. Jakes and Nibs. Nibs goes in on Cook, shoots it again wide of the net. Out of Kraus as the Americans beat the penalty killer, doing the penalty killing. They got 3 shots on goal. And there would have been shorthanded goals as Buchanan goes down and the puck into the neutral ice area. Shift change for Kamloops. Shazowski shooting it right now for Harrison. Back into neutral ice. McClelland goes left to Needham. Needham almost loses it at neutral ice to Shazowski. Shoots it left to Harrison. Harrison dumps it in behind the net. Kraus is there for the Americans. Leaves it back for Jakes. Jakes and Harrison tangle with it. Needham tried to center it, almost kicked in by Nibs. And Ferlin has to come out, kick Nibs out of the way, and then make the save as Kraus and Needham face up. Kraus just trying to get Needham out of the way. I'll tell you what, if I was Frank Ferlin, I might want to get up and wrap the stick around Nibs' head. I don't think Calvin did it on purpose, but he almost scored the goal.
Oh, Frank.
And Ferlin saying, hey, listen, how much abuse do I have to take down here? As he discusses it with referee LaRue, and that will probably have about as much effect as nothing on Dennis LaRue, but got to have a fairly thick hide and bad hearing to be a Western Hockey League official. As the Blazers still on the power play on the penalty to Barnes. Deck with it as they win the draw. Into the corner it goes. Here's Duval in after it for Kraus. Chipped it out now to Delcourt. Delcourt with it along the boards. Losing it to Shazowski. Back out to McLeod. A drive, and it goes way up high. Went up and hit one of the ceiling beams. Way up at the end of the Coliseum.
Now, if you're listening on the radio at home, this Coliseum has open-ended at the rafters that goes down into the concession area. That's the second one I've seen now fly up and hit the close going out to the concession area.
Yeah, one went out last night.
Yeah. This hit the F section up here and bounced around, and there was some heads ducking up there. And had a little bit of speed on it, Kurt.
Face off top of the circle to the right of Frank Ferlin. Taken out of there by McLeod. McLeod goes right to left, along the blue line. Back up head of the slot to Deck, a drive. Shazowski, his shot blocked by Ferlin. Great job by the magician.
Excellent, excellent
back
save.
into the Kamloops end. Dean Cook goes back to leave it for Kim Deck. Hey, I tell you what, Shazowski had that one at point blank range.
That's right.
And the Magic Man made him come up short.
Oh,
Ferlin moving to the right, a deflected puck. Ferlin just kicks it out of the way. Now Barnes wheels into the play. Penalty's over. Puck knocked away by Kraus, but Deck has it, dumps it into the corner. 9:48 to go. We're tied at 3 here in the third period. Jakes with it. Crowd kind of getting into this one. Not as big as last night, but noisier. Down into the left corner. Spenrath goes in after McClellan. They shoot it out along the boards. Delcourt keeping it in play. Whips it all the way around the boards. Back out to the point. Delcourt digging at it. Manages to, nope, loses it to Anderson. Anderson, quick outlet pass to Boyer. Back to Corey Anderson. Anderson up the left wing boards. To the right of Furlan. Centers it, but it's blocked away by Jakes. To Spenrath, to Barnes. Barnes 2-on-2 with Spenrath. Loses the puck. Has it knocked away from him as they scramble for it. Back into neutral ice. McClellan. McClellan getting it ahead to Boyer. Boyer goes right to Anderson. Anderson fans. Here comes Delcourt. 3-on-1. Delcourt with Barnes. Barnes a drive. Cook covers it up. Good job by Dean Cook once again.
That was a controlled rebound right there, and that's what a great goaltender will do.
It hit Cook right in the chest.
Yeah.
He dropped it right in front of him and then covered up.
And that's what you're supposed to do. And you know, the younger goaltenders can take a point from that right there. When you have a shot that is as hard as that, you got to understand those things will fly in different directions.
You bet.
And if you can keep them right in front of you so that you have control of it, jump down on it if there's a lot of interference and freeze it, and we'll have a face-off.
Barnes got to be wondering what you got to do to beat Dean Cook, because he dropped that one in the cannon at about 15 feet, pulled the trigger, and Cook was right there to smother it. Now the crowd getting a wave going here in the Coliseum. LeBrun against Harrison. LeBrun winning the draw, slides it toward the goal. Cook there to leave it for Deck. Deck shoots an outlet pass, goes into neutral ice. Back forward is Krause. Krause keeping it in play for the Americans, but Harrison there. Harrison into the Tri-Cities end. Goes into the corner right. Bertuzzi. Whoa! Bertuzzi was airborne. Shane Cole really whacked him back into neutral ice. LeBrun to steal a pass away from Bertuzzi. LeBrun getting it into the Kamloops. Nice. Here comes LeBrun. Shot! And it's blocked again by Dean Cook. And did LeBrun take a hit? LeBrun run right into the boards hard by Paul Cruz.
And Cruz is down, and his head went directly into the boards, and that is why you use helmets in this league.
Well, Cruz had LeBrun lined up, I want to tell you. He had LeBrun in the crosshairs, and LeBrun got one quick step to get out of the way, and Cruz hit that board like a guided missile.
And that was with his head. And
he's about 4 inches shorter now.
That's
Oh, I can feel vertebrae crack clear up here.
Ooh.
8:26 to go in the third period, tied at 3 in the Tri-Cities Coliseum. Kwiatkowski against Huber. Won by Huber. Comes out along the boards. Krause, a shot! But it's gloved right in front of the net by McClellan. Back behind the net, it goes a wraparound. Kwiatkowski a whack at it, can't get it to go. Kevin Robertson in there all over the play. Needham, outlet pass, but there's nobody home for the Blazers. It'll go across the goal line. Jakes will touch it for icing. Ooh, my, oh my. Blazers trying to get a quick outlet pass, and it just wouldn't happen that time.
You know, there's a lot of people that don't like using helmets, but going back to the point there where Cruz went just directly into the boards with his head.
Oh, man.
And it's a good idea, and when you're in the pros, it's optional to use a helmet or not. And back in the beginning of when helmets started hitting the pros was a guy by the name of Stan Mikita. And Stan Mikita always wore a helmet when helmets were very unfashionable. And it's a good thing that helmets are a required piece of equipment here in the WHL.
Well, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The less you use one, the less you think you use one.
That's right.
You need one. Mainly because the less you think, period. Huber with it across neutral ice, dumping it into the Kamloops end, or into the Americans' end. In behind the net, Needham goes after it. Tied at 3. Puck taken away by the Americans. Robertson feeds a pass right side. Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski 2-on-3. Kwiatkowski in the corner, tries to leave it for Robertson. Shot off the board. So Jakes a drive wide of the net. It'll come out to Rob Cross at the point. Centered. And a whack at it by Robertson, but he can't get it to go anywhere. Blazers bring it back out into neutral ice to Needham. Needham and a whistle, as in ahead of Needham was Zach Boyer.
Some great action at both ends of the rink here tonight.
Well, these teams are racing up and down, and you had to wonder about the Blazers watching them at home as to whether they could come out here in a big rink where they've had trouble and skate well.
They're trying to snap an 0 for 5 on road games right now.
Well, they've skated very well. I still don't see Don Schmidt. I don't know whether he was ejected by the referee or whether and received a game misconduct, or whether Ken Hitchcock sent him off the bench. but gone he is, and the Blazers could use him. Goes into the corner on the faceoff. Duval around to Krause. Krause with it. Rob Krause tried to get it to Delcourt. Almost stolen away, but Delly has it. Delcourt across the blue line. Big hit there. Delly leaving it behind, dumping it in. Now Delcourt losing his stick, has to go pick it up as the Blazers bring it back. McLeod chips a pass on the left side now to Harrison. Harrison shooting it in on Perlin. Perlin comes up with a block. Leaves it behind for Murray Duval. Duval around behind the net. Duval setting up the line rush for the Americans. Duval out to Krause. Krause snaps the pass ahead to Barnes. Hits Barnes' stick and goes into the Kamloops end. Barnes and Delcourt in after it. Will have icing as McLeod got to it first for the icing call.
This is the kind of hockey game that fans really get into, and you can tell everybody is starting to do their little clapping now.
I'm not sure if that's Don Schmidt. Oh, that's Hirsch, the backup goalie without his helmet on over there. Sitting at the end of the bench.
Yeah, just a little while ago, I saw Steve Passmore, number 30, the goaltender, the backup goalie right now for the Americans, catch a stick right on the side of the face because he's leaning over the boards over there. And he kind of jumped back a little bit. I don't know if he's old enough to shave, but...
Welcome to the league, young man. He's just about 16. Rennie on the faceoff, now being chased out of the faceoff circle. LeBrun comes in. Huber wins it, left of Ferland. Shot toward the net, but it's deflected out front. Now LeBrun has it across neutral ice. LeBrun from Malone. Knocked away, but Sherstenka keeping it in play. To LeBrun. LeBrun to the right of the net. LeBrun pulling up. Centers it from Malone. It's chopped away and goes into the left boards. Needham with it. Rennie trying to keep it in play. Back into neutral ice. Sherstenka with it. Now Dan will air it into the corner. Just chipped it up high like a 9-iron shot. Creighton with it. Creighton gets it over to Deck. Deck has it stripped away from him at the blue line. To Malone. Malone losing it there to Chizowski. Back to Kamloops. Huber with it. Huber through neutral ice as he's wiped out by a teammate, and it goes into the corner. Shift change for the Blazers. Here comes LeBrun. LeBrun looking for somebody. Finds Sherstenka. Sherstenka dumps it down into the Kamloops end. Blazers will chase it down. Shift change for the Americans. Colin Krause along with Nibbs, Kwiatkowski, and Robertson. A shot smothered by Krause. Taken by Anderson off in the corner. Head of the slot, it goes to McLeod. McLeod's drive, and Perlin blocks it.
It's up
loose
front.
puck. And here comes Robertson. Robertson, 3-on-2. Robertson goes right to Kwiatkowski. Kiwi can't quite handle a pass. Overskates the puck. Chip back along the boards. In after it is Shane Cole. But the Blazers dump it back to neutral ice. Know how many times the Americans have had a clean breakaway or a 3-on-2 and not gotten a shot. Nibbs shooting it into the Kamloops end. Speared a little bit there by Creighton, and it goes in behind the net. As McClellan has it. McClellan getting it out into neutral ice. Back forward is Krause. Krause shooting it back to the Kamloops blue line. Now Robertson with it. Shooting it across the blue line. Stopped by McClellan. He comes across the neutral zone. McClellan with it. Head of the slot. Blocked by Ferland. Rebound comes out to Robertson. Robertson slaps it down the ice. Back for it for Kamloops is Harrison. Harrison wheels around behind the net. Tied up by Spinrath. Taken off Spinrath. Stick by Delcourt. Comes out there to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi across the neutral ice area.
Nice sweep.
Leaves it behind. Good check by Delcourt to Barnes. Here comes Stu. Hear the fans yelling, Stu, Stu. Barnes dumping it into the corner.
Dump and chase.
And Spinrath will chase it down. Bad pass. It goes to Delcourt. Tried to get it to Spinrath across the slot. Chizowski there. Spinner takes a whack at it. Puck's just to the right of the net. Now Barnes with it. Barnes! Oh, great save again by Dean Cook. Out to the point. Sherstenka, left point. Sherstenka takes it in. Beats it to Delcourt. His shot hits the pipe. Centered again. Huber has it.
And a penalty.
And a whistle. A penalty coming up.
Boy, did the Americans show some offensive moves there.
Yep, Delcourt, a good backhand. He had a shot there. And on the penalty, it looks like it's going to go against the Blazers. And it could go, well, I thought it was going to go against Huber. Instead, it goes against Creighton.
And I think Creighton's got a little lucky. I think he should have been called a couple of minutes ago with throwing his lumber around down there.
Well, Creighton goes at 16:06. The period, 4,754. Did I hit it or what? I said 4,800. That's close enough.
I'll tell you what.
I'm getting real scary like this. 2-minute penalty to Creighton. And the face-off will come to the left-hand side of Dean Cook. You're right as you look on from center ice. It'll be Barnes against Harrison. Ryan Harrison, native of Kamloops, against Stu Barnes. Barnes from Spruce Grove, Alberta, just outside of Edmonton, about 30 miles.
Dean Cook down there yelling out some orders to his guys.
And the wave going around and around. The linesman dropped the puck. Now there apparently some stuff thrown on the ice. That's too bad. Harrison against Barnes. Barnes winning a quick shot. Blocked by Dean Cook.
And boy, you could see that develop too. Barnes winning the draw, and then Spenrath heading straight towards the net. And Stu reaching around and trying to center it for Greg.
Boy, you can feel that. Hear the crowd react to that music. I'll tell you what, this is great entertainment. If you figure that $6.50 or $8.50 you pay for a ticket, I don't think you could hardly do any better than tonight at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
In behind the net is McLeod. McLeod out for Needham. It's checked away by Spenrath. Back to LeBrun at the point. Americans on a power play. Jakes with it. Jakes in the slot to Nibbs and a whistle.
And oh boy, it looks like it's going against the Americans.
Well, this will be interesting. It'll go 4-on-4 as Spenrath takes a hit at 16-19.
Interference is the call.
And that negates the Tri-Cities power play, which we have as being their third of the game.
You can see David Linford, number 6 for the Kamloops, jumping up and down and saying, yeah.
Blazers are 1 for 4. Now we have 4-on-4 time. This is the time Stu Barnes likes the best. Lots of room on the ice. Blazers with it. Needham to drive. Perlin to rebound. The rebound comes out to LeBrun. Goes into Barnes. Barnes and LeBrun, 2-on-2. Barnes wheels around at the right point. Barnes gets it down. Tries to get it into LeBrun. Has it knocked away by the Blazers. Here comes Kamloops. Phil Huber. Huber quickly across the neutral zone. Huber to the right. Has his poke checked away by Scherstenka. Needham over for it. Whips it around behind the net. But Barnsley's there. Barnes to Jakes. Jakes with it ahead to LeBrun. LeBrun and Barnes bring it up. LeBrun tries to split the defense. Can't do it. McLeod back for the Blazers. McLeod, his pass stolen by Jakes. Ahead to Barnes. Here comes Barnes with LeBrun. LeBrun blocked by Dean Cook. Centered. Barnes backs at it. And Kamloops getting it back into neutral ice. Great saves by Dean Cook.
What a save by Dean Cook.
Barnes with it at the blue line. Chips it in. Here comes Malone to drive. Around wide of the net. It was a little high. Malone puts a big hit on McLeod. McLeod throws his stick at Malone now as they chase it. Barnes with it around behind the net. Has it knocked away from him by Harrison. Big scramble for the puck. Barnes with it. As McClellan still without his stick. Digging away at it. He and Barnes. And Barnes has him wrapped up completely with his stick. Now McClellan turns around and wants a piece of Barnes. And Barnes looks like he's happy to oblige.
Yeah, let's get Stu out of there. He doesn't need to do it. There's Krause. Yeah, we want to keep Barnesy in there.
Krause comes over and says, hey, you want to fight?
Yeah.
Guy, let's just, we need time.
That's right. That's Krause's job. He goes over there. He's a deputy of defense.
Krause wearing the badge, and looks like they broke it up without anything extra happening. So
you'll see some. Yeah, excuse me.
23 seconds remaining in the penalty to Spenrath. 5 seconds in the penalty to Creighton. So Kamloops would have a brief power play, 13 seconds, when the penalty to Creighton runs out.
Yeah, what you'll see down there too is that Stu Barnes, they'll try to pick on him a little bit because he is such a good player, and they'll try to get him riled up. And with 2:04 left, what a play for Kamloops to get him sitting down for fighting for 5 minutes.
You bet. On the other hand, you can't really back away either.
That's true.
Barnes on the faceoff against Zach Boyer. Barnes getting ready to the right now of Dean Cook. Barnes winning the draw out to Duval. Duval a drive. Cook covers it up, and Dean Cook took a real hit that time.
Yeah, he did.
Dean Cook.
He felt all 6.5 ounces of it right there.
A little bit slow to stand back up, but a big drive from the point. In this case, covered up by Dean Cook. Now 6 seconds remaining in the penalty to Creighton. 2 minutes to play in the hockey game. We're tied at 3. I don't even want to think the OT word.
No.
This is where the crowd could help win this one. It's Barnes against Huber. Barnes sending Duval back. Barnes winning the draw. Duval slides it into the slot. Oh! Flipped wide of the net by Barnes. Blazers with it. Penalty is over to Creighton. Power play for the Blazers coming up. Krause with it as he wheels through his own zone. Krause trying to find LeBrun. Now Krause slapping it in toward Cook.
Teams at equal strength.
And the teams are at even strength as Spenrath back on the ice. Here comes McLeod. McLeod shoots a pass right for Needham. Knocked away from him by Krause. Back of the Americans. Rennie tries to get it to Spenrath. Spinner racing in after it with McLeod. Spenrath and McLeod along the boards. LeBrun trying to dig it loose. Does. LeBrun gets it out front to Jakes. Jakes a slap right in front of the net, and it's just wide. Goes in behind the net. Now LeBrun chasing in after it. Minute 8 on the clock as it comes out along the boards, and Jakes digging for it. Jakes to Rennie.
1 minute to go.
Rennie in the corner. 1 minute to play in regulation as the puck's tied up there along the net, along the boards behind the net.
Less than a minute left in this one in regulation.
57 seconds to play.
Back-to-back OT games at 3-3.
No. Next action for the Americans on Wednesday night in Spokane against the Spokane Chiefs. We're tied at 3 with 57 seconds to go. The Americans against the Kamloops Blazers.
That'll be a rough and tough game up in Spokane on Wednesday evening.
Boy, howdy, you can count on that.
You know, they're having a great, very successful homestand here in these 4 games. 2-0-1. If they pull this one out tonight, probably, well, they haven't had a homestand like that.
Period. Barnes against Harrison. On the faceoff, won by the Americans. Jakes, head of the slot. Jakes slides it down, and it's caught by Dean Cook. Cook had to do the splits to get to it. Wasn't sure quite where that one was going.
Glove save.
And Dean Cook goes down to his knees. He's going to have a, looks like he might have popped the lace on that one. 51 seconds remaining in the third period here at Tri-Cities Coliseum. Good crowd tonight, rocking and rolling and having a good time.
Yeah, they are.
4,700 and some odd. We're tied at 3. The Americans are 5-1 on Sundays.
Coach John Oliver over there barking out some instructions.
I think John would probably like a chance to look inside Ken Hitchcock's mind right now. Hitch is over there being basically pretty quiet.
But he is a force.
Now signaling to Huber. 51 seconds remaining. LeBrun against Huber. Both teams at full strength. Face off in the Kamloops end to the left of Dean Cook. Now LeBrun will be chased out of there, and Barnes will step in to take the draw against Huber. Puck's down. Won by Barnes. Out to Jakes. Jakes a shot. Ooh, just wide of the net. LeBrun back after it. LeBrun leaving it behind for Barnes. Out to LeBrun. Stolen away by Huber. Here come the Blazers. 3-on-2. Huber splits the defense. Goes on the right side to Harrison, and we have an offside.
Offside. Ooh. I believe Corey Creighton was in there. No, it's number 15. Check that. Trevor Buchanan was in offside.
I think that won't get your blood pressure up just quick.
That's a good opportunity for the Blazers.
Yeah, it was. A 3-on-2, a clean 3-on-2 breakaway with 2 Americans trying to get back into play and not having much luck as those 3 guys went sailing up the ice.
I think the fans are getting their money's worth again. The Americans have not failed to give the Tri-City fans their money's worth in all the home games.
Well, they played pretty well all season.
I'm going to have to get my heart medicine out.
I think you're right. Rennie with Kwiatkowski and Spinrath. Tough line against Harrison with Needham and Buchanan. Now Kamloops complaining that Huber was chased off the ice. But
they're sending Buchanan.
Now they're chasing Buchanan. Well, maybe Huber has to come back on. Let's see. It's Linford. Well, now wait a minute. The referee, the home team has the last change, and the complaint is that the Blazers were changing after the Americans had made their shift change. Now Kamloops with the players on the ice. Harrison with Needham and Buchanan. Americans win the draw. Spinrath dumps it into the Kamloops end. Half a minute to play. McLeod back after it. McLeod shoots it out to Needham. Needham goes left. Harrison shoots a pass on the left side now to Buchanan. Buchanan to the right of the net. Buchanan. And it's tied up along the boards. Now the Americans have it. Here comes Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski and Spinrath. Kwiatkowski starts in, tries to get it to Spinner, and Spinner wiped out. 4 seconds to go. Rennie whips it in behind the net, and time runs out. That's the end of the regulation play, and we are, as we were last night, tied at 3 at the end of the regulation play. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll be working overtime.
Score has a happy face.
Do you have to say that?
I know you're not really too thrilled about this, Kurt.
No, I mean the happy face part. 3-3 the score. And Rennie with LeBrun and Malone facing off against Huber with Needham and Jazowski. Rennie winning the draw, goes to Malone, behind the back pass to Kraus. Kraus dumping it into the Blazer end. Back for it is Pat McLeod, and a whistle. Icing is the call. And they'll bring it back up to the Tri-Cities end. As Kraus was just back of the center line when he dumped it into the Blazer end. I think Furlan's got his pulse rate up just a little bit now.
He's worked some, since Ole's been down, he's put in some awfully long hours.
Fortunately, he has a great attitude. He just comes to the game. He comes to the office, punches the time clock, and goes to work. On the face-off, one really by nobody. Now dug out of there by McClelland at the blue line. To Dacker, quick wrist shot. Blocked by Furlan, goes to the left of the net. Tries to get it ahead to LeBrun. Whipped across the slot. Goes right to Jazowski. Back out front to McClelland. McClelland trying to get it in. They get it in the slot. Needham, Huber! And his shot goes wide of the net to the left side. Shot back into neutral ice, and it'll go out of play. Well, I think we're going to wind up with a 2-line pass, and it'll come back into the Tri-Cities end.
Up to the right-hand side of Frank Furlan.
That's scary.
Yeah, in overtime, you really don't want to have too many face-offs down around your end.
No. You don't believe that? Ask Furlan, the magician. Lethbridge Hurricanes here in Tri-Cities Coliseum on Friday night. And then on Saturday night is the Portland Winterhawks. That should be a good weekend.
Yeah.
Lethbridge and Portland. Face-off won by the Americans. Back into the corner. Scherstenka around behind his net. Dan Scherstenka bringing it out. Gets it ahead to Delcourt. Delcourt across the blue line. Dumping it into the corner. Delly in after it. Takes a whack at Cook on his way by. Kept in play by Scherstenka at the left point. Puck goes into the corner. Delcourt with it. Delcourt digging for it along with Barnes. Now Delly has it on his stick. Turns around. Wrist one, and Cook will cover up. Quick wrist shot from about 20 feet. Angle left, and Dean Cook there to smother it.
quite a few opportunities for both teams tonight. You know, when you're in the upper 30s as far as shots on goal, that's putting your goalies to work.
You bet. Face-off will come to the right of Dean Cook. Shift change for the Americans. On comes LeBrun, Malone, and Rennie, with Krause and Murray Duval. Duval, a draft pick of the Rangers. LeBrun, a draft pick of the New York Islanders. On the face-off, lost by LeBrun. He tried to kick it, but he kicked it right to Linford. Here come the Blazers. They whip it in to the left of the net. Ferland dumps it into the corner, but Rennie's back for the Americans. Rennie, headman pass to LeBrun. LeBrun bringing it up, 3-on-2. LeBrun left of the net. Tries to center it for Rennie. Rennie can't get to it. Swept away from him by Huber. Leaves him behind for Needham. Here comes Mike Needham. Tries to get it ahead to Huber. Rennie strips him away from it. Goes right now to Duval. Duval back in the Americans' end to Krause. Krause to Murray Duval. Duval with it. Shoots it ahead now for Rennie. Goes past Rennie into the Blazer end. Backboard is Creighton. Here comes Corey Creighton. Creighton with it up to the blue line. Gets it ahead now to Chizowski. Chizowski across the Tri-City blue line. Stripped away from him by Barnes. Whipped toward the net that time by Harrison. Blocked by Ferland. And the Americans have it. Here they come. Krause. Krause left to Barnes. Barnes across the blue line. Shooting it into the corner. Delcourt races in after it. Tried to intercept. Can't do it. Jakes shoots it toward the net. Stolen away, but Barnes has it. Barnes in the right corner. Barnes around behind the net. Turns around, tries to shove it in. They whack at it, and it goes behind the net. Delcourt is upended, dumped into the net. The play continues. Delcourt digging it loose. It was Spinrath, centered it. Rejected. Back to Spinrath from Scherstenka. Back in for it is Delcourt. Barnes and Delcourt as they dump Harrison in the corner. Barnes and Delcourt really working Harrison and McClelland over.
And old Dean Cook down there, he's going through it. He's having a heck of a time tonight. And there was plenty of action going on inside the net.
Well, Delcourt got dumped right into the net, was hanging on the crossbar, trying to get back to his feet. And I don't really think he was getting much help from Cook down there.
Yeah.
Faceoff will come to the right of Dean Cook. Your left as you look on from center ice. It'll be Rennie with Kwiatkowski and Nibbs. Duval and Krause the D-men. Faceoff won by Rennie but taken by McLeod. McLeod whips around behind his net. Here come the Blazers. Out to center ice. McLeod dumping it into the Tri-Cities end. Krause back for it. Krause whips around behind the net with Chizowski. Comes out to Kwiatkowski. Kiwi gets it ahead to Rennie. Rennie nearly loses it. Gets it back. Shoots it back to the Kamloops blue line. It's across the blue line, but Kwiatkowski couldn't handle it. Now Rennie breaks in. Rennie a drive! Wide of the net. Will come out to the point. Krause flips it into the slot to Rennie. Rennie another shot. Blocked by Dean Cook. Cook leaving it away for Linford. Back out to the blue line and into neutral ice. Krause airs it back into the Kamloops end. Back for it is Linford. Linford whipping it around behind the boards, behind the net to Creighton. Good check there. Poked out into the slot, but knocked away by Needham. Needham to Chizowski. 1-on-4. Chizowski tries to beat the defenseman, and Murray Duval there to knock it away. Nibbs ahead to Krause, but the Blazers intercept and dump it back in as McClelland whips it in behind the Americans' net. It'll be icing as Duval chases in after it.
Murray Duval and Rob Krause playing some excellent defense right there. When the man comes in and tries to split them, one takes what's like the old saying, well, I'll take you high, the other take you low. And Rob Krause decides to take the man, and Murray Duval clears the puck.
And the Barnes-Spinrath line back on now. Barnes with Spinrath and LeBrun. It'll be Jakes and Scherstenka on the blue line. For the Americans, for the Blazers, the line is Harrison with Boyer and maybe Buchanan. Barnes and Harrison will face it off. Face off won by nobody, and now chased by Spinrath into the corner as Barnes kicked it away. Spinrath and Barnes dig for it. Does Barnes get it? Yes, Spinrath shoots it out to him. Now it's shot back into neutral ice. We've played 4 minutes of overtime as the puck rolls in on Ferland. Ferland will leave it behind for Jakes. Jakes behind the net. He leaves and uses the net as a screen. Now Jakes bring it out ahead to Spenrath, and it's chipped up along the boards. Back forward is Linford. Linford lose it, try to get it back into neutral ice, and he does. Now LeBrun with it. Whips it back into the Kamloops end around behind the net. Cook leaving it for Linford. Pass stolen away by Jakes in the slot, but it's taken away by McLeod. Dumped back into the Tri-Cities end. Boy, these teams worked hard. Shustenka to Spenrath. Spinner's pass intended for Barnes. Barnes can't get to it. Spenrath sweeping into LeBron. Here comes Barnes. 2 on 3. Barnes gets in, shoots, scores! 2 more! The game is over. The Tri-City Americans have beaten the Kamloops Blazers. And look at them. Oh, they're all tackling him down to the corner. Stu Barnes. Now you hear the crowd yelling, Stu, Stu, Stu. What a game. And it comes in overtime. Stu Barnes wheeling and dealing and showing them what it's all made of. Puts that puck in behind Dean Cook, and the Tri-City Americans in this home streak at 3-0-1. Back at Tri-Cities Coliseum with Stu Barnes, scored the winning goal in the game and also had a penalty shot goal. Stu, let's talk about that penalty shot first. You were interfered with as you went in on Dean Cook down at the far end.
Yeah, we dumped it in, and he came out to play the puck, and he missed it when he went for the shot. And I had a wide open net. I just went as hard as I could for the net, and he threw a stick at me, and that ensued the penalty shot.
They on the penalty shot, it's you and the goalie one-on-one. What did you do?
I came in. He was. I wanted to get a lot of speed for coming in there, because I mean it makes it a lot harder for a goalie to adjust when I am coming in fast, and I did that, and he had a shoulder down, and I just dipped my shoulder to go to one side and shot to the other side over his glove.
Stu, and the game-winning goal in the overtime, that happened just in a big tangle right in front of the net.
Yeah, I don't even know who gave me the pass. I think it was Danny Shustenka. I just know I came out with the puck, and I seen the lane to the net. I had to make one move, and I did that and went in the goalie, made a move across, and he opened his legs, and I put it through.
Well, the Americans win it 4-3 in overtime. It'd be nice to win one easy, wouldn't it?
That's for sure. I mean, we're winning all these close ones. It's tough on the guys, and it's tough on everybody's nerves, but at least we're winning them.
Going to Spokane on Wednesday night, what do you think?
I think it's going to be another game where we're going to have to come out and be forechecking hard and hitting all the time, and just playing our game. I mean, when we're forechecking and doing what we're best at, I mean, I don't think there's any team in this league that can beat us, and I think it's just going to be a matter of doing what we do best. Okay, Stu Barnes and Kirk Williamson along with Greg Spenrath, the co-captain of the Americans, who got the assist on the game winner. Greg, what happened?
Well, I just saw the puck rolling out the center, and 2 of their players were racing for it, and I just actually dived for the puck and brought it back, and looked up, and Stu was wheeling into their end and made a nice move, and he put the puck in the net, and it was a joyous occasion for us.
Had to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, really good, actually.
It's got to be tough playing the same team twice in a row in no matter whose rink you're in, but playing twice in the same rink in 2 days, 2 overtime games. You must be a little worn out.
Yeah, it's the overtime wears you out, but they had a game on Friday night, and I think they were a little bit more tired than us, and we had a little bit more spark. We were forechecking harder than them, and we came out on top.
And the crowd helped too.
Oh, the crowd helps us immensely. They get us pumped up when we throw a big hit or get a stop from Frank or anything. Just they jump up and start cheering, and you can't help but get pumped up by that. Starting to feel like this is your own home rink? Oh yeah, this is home for sure.
Greg Spenrath, and we're going to make a quick change. We're going to change on the fly here and see if we can get Americans coach John Oliver in. And for kind of a final wrap-up, John, I don't know about you, but I'm getting too old for these 2 overtime games in a row.
Yeah, it was, and they were almost carbon copies in a lot of ways. I mean, Kamloops played well again at the start, and they got a couple goals, and we were chasing them. We seemed to change the momentum late and carried the play to them most of that third period, and I thought in the overtime, although shots on goal, they outshot us, I thought we carried it to them in the overtime.
And again, the crowd must have been a fairly important factor in the game.
Absolutely. The fans just seemed to pick us up when we get a little bit down, and late in that third period, we were running out of gas a little bit. Certainly Kamloops was. It was their third game in 3 nights, and the crowd certainly made a big difference for us. We were starting to go mostly with 2 lines at the end, and we were getting tired, but the crowd just won't let us die, and they have to take certainly part of the credit for this win again tonight, as they have in all our close games.
John, the lines, you were changing the lines around a little bit late too. You got Spenrath back on that line with Barnes and LeBrun. We haven't seen those 3 together for a while.
That's right. We don't seem to have some lines that are really clicking every night, and tonight we had no momentum going. Barnes with LeBrun and Malone just didn't seem to have any jump or any chemistry there. And I just, for no other reason, to try something new, switched them around, and suddenly we got some jump. We got a couple of goals right after that, and once we got some success, certainly we continued to go with it, and kept them together throughout the third period, even switched it around a little bit more, and at one point I had Barnes and LeBrun back together, and once we got on a roll, once we get going, once we're playing well, probably anybody can play with anybody, and when things are going bad and we have no jump or no energy, no matter who I put together, it doesn't seem to make things happen. So we got it going, and really everybody started to play well. I didn't get some guys in the game there late in the third period and in the overtime, and it's unfortunate because everybody wants to play, and they've got family and friends here and billets and the whole bit, and certainly we like to play everyone, but in those close games, we're out to win, and it's pretty hard not to go with guys like Barnes when they're going like that in the third period and overtime.
Let's look ahead just briefly to Spokane, another game that's going to be a big emotional game up in Spokane against the Chiefs.
Well, it seems we have some very close games with Spokane. Mind you, we have close games with everyone, it seems. The goaltending has just been unbelievable in this rink, and our goaltending has been unbelievable. And again tonight, you get Cook played great, and Hirsch played great last night, and Defoe played great last week for Portland. The goaltending has been awesome. But getting back to your question, Spokane is a team that I think closely parallels our team, and they've been struggling as of late, but they've got some good management. I know that the coaches and Bob Strum, the manager, is going to have their team ready to play against us come Wednesday night.
John Overy, head coach of the Tri-City Americans, congratulations on a great victory. 2nd overtime game in a row. The 6th Americans victory on Sunday against 1 defeat. Maybe we need to talk to the schedulers.
Yes, Sunday's been good to us, there's no doubt, and I don't know, we haven't been going to church. I'm not quite sure. Somebody's looking over us here on Sundays, that's for sure.
Back to Tri-Cities Coliseum. Our final score, once again, the Americans winning at 4-3 in overtime. Good night from Tri-Cities Coliseum.